resolution. This after he agreed to delay sending articles of impeachment against the Homeland Security chief to the Senate, where Democrats could block an impeachment trial. The White House says Republicans have blocked border security improvements, a debate that continued in a hearing on the Homeland Security budget.
Only Congress can fix our broken and outdated system, and only Congress can address our need for more Border Patrol agents, asylum officers, and immigration judges, facilities, and technology.
Secretary Mayorkas says the immigration and asylum system are broken. At a separate hearing on the education budget,
where some seek to defund public education, I'm here to defend it unapologetically as the foundation of the American dream.
Education Secretary Miguel Cardona also defending the president's effort to lower and cancel some student loan debt. Alabama Republican Congressman Robert Adderholt pushing back on Title IX changes,
which, in my opinion, would do grave harm to the safety and the success of young girls and women across this country.
Policy revisions are aimed in part at more protections for transgender students while still allowing schools to adopt policies that limit participation in sports. Former President Trump defending his recent statement on abortion.
Everything about abortion, it was all about bringing it back to the states.
Though he's calling on Arizona lawmakers to change a more than century-old law upheld in court yesterday that criminalizes all abortions except if the mother's life is at stake. The former president speaking to reporters in Georgia ahead of a campaign fundraiser. America is listening to Fox News.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare information guide absolutely free. Call 800-919-3200. That's 800-919-3200. 800-919-3200. Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Lots of clouds and kind of windy going through our Wednesday afternoon with periods of mainly light rain, 65. Tonight, periods of rain. Could be some spot rumbles here and there. Windy and 52. Thursday, periods of rain. Some spots of thunder. Windy and 62 degrees. Cleared out Thursday night. Sunny on Friday. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Okay, so you filed your taxes this year, but you know you have past IRS issues. And now the IRS letters are coming. Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. Don't ignore those IRS letters. They're important and give you rights and deadlines to defend yourself. Waiting could cause you to lose those rights. Call the Lance Story Law Firm now and let us help you get ahead of the IRS and defend your rights while you still have time. The Lance Story Law Firm is located here in St. Louis, so take the first step and hire a tax resolution attorney. We've made it super easy to schedule your free consultation in person, or you can do a phone call and save travel time. Remember, IRS problems are legal problems. So before you send money to some out-of-town, high-pressure salesperson, give us a call at the Lance Story Law Firm. Call today at 314-260-6120. That's 314-260-6120. Or go visit lance.drurylaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
You know, most people never get to sit down with elected officials and ask them about the important issues. I'm Judge Mike Carter, and that's exactly why I host the news talk program, Justice and Journalism, with me, Judge Mike Carter. My goal is to bring those who represent us closer to the people they serve. I ask the questions you would in a no-nonsense manner. That's why we've been able to interview so many top local, state, and federal officials, because as a judge, I offer an unbiased, one-on-one conversation that's hard to find elsewhere these days. Besides serving as judge, I have a journalism degree, which is how the name of the show, Justice and Journalism, with me, Judge Mike Carter, evolved. You never know who we'll interview next, from Governor Parson to prosecutors, sports figures to Missouri business leaders. Justice and Journalism with me, Judge Mike Carter, airs on Fox and ABC. You can also watch our past shows at MikeCarter.com, where we ask the questions and let you be the judge.
If you'd like to see more of Judge Mike Carter's interviews on his program, Justice and Journalism, visit MikeCarter.com. That's MikeCarter.com.
Diamonds Direct spring sale starts this weekend. Get 20% off rings, earrings, pendants, bracelets, and more. It's the best store-wide sale of the season. Plus, book an appointment and get an additional $100 off. That's right, 20% savings plus an extra $100 off. Also enjoy an expanded selection of the latest style with designer appearances each weekend. Tons of engagement rings on sale, too. 20% off starts Friday and open this Sunday as well. Details at diamondsdirect.com.
Don't let a cold, sinus infection, or allergies ruin your day. Breathe easier, sleep better, and feel healthier with Navage. Visit Navage.com, Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, or a store near you.
The Annie Fry Show YouTube live chat poll of the day is sponsored by Ruler Foods. Low prices, no coupons. Ruler Foods.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
You need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Well, it suggested that we're examining whether or not I have that power. I would have that power under the legislation when the border has over 500,000 people, 5,000 people a day trying to cross the border because you can't manage it, slow it up. There's no guarantee that I have that power all by myself without legislation. And someone suggested I should just go ahead and try it. And if I get shut down by the court, I get shut down by the court. But we're trying to work through that right now.
You listen to Joe Biden talk about the wringing of his hands, like, oh, what can we do about the border? There are some that suggest I should try to do it and just let the courts do what the courts do. Yeah, Joe Biden, just like you're doing with student loans. It's unbelievable to compare the two crises that we face in our modern day. Students who took out too much money because the government just hands the money out to people and the cost of education just keeps going up and 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 up. Never goes down. There's no conversation about public education at the collegiate level and making it affordable. But of course, you don't have to do that if you own the printing press, the ability to lend the money, and the ability to make sure that they don't have to pay it back. He's already lost in the Supreme Court level with the student loan crisis, where he tried to, eradicate all of this burden for all of these people who took out these student loans that can't pay them back or haven't been paying them back. But he just did it well framed right around the midterm election. And then it didn't happen, and it didn't happen at a pretty, not opportune time for the Biden administration. Of course, it would have been great if he would have been able to say, yeah, we really pulled this off and really pulled in those millennials and Gen Zers who are looking at steep, Gen Xers too, probably for that matter, student loan debt. That would have been a pretty nice feather in the cap of President Biden, but that didn't happen. Of course, we're back in an election year, and he's willing to throw everything up at the wall, look for any statute that he can worm his way in and out of in order to get this very, very exciting and flattering to young folks opportunity presented in front of them right before they vote. But if you listen to the president there say that he's examining if he has the power to shut down the border, just undo the crap that you did when you took office. Redo what Donald Trump had in place, and that's a start. Put those things in place, those executive orders that you executive unordered, put everything back in place, and then go back to Congress and make demands of what you would like them to do on a broader legislative basis. That would be what a leader would do. That would be what somebody who is interested in what's best for the country, the sovereign border that we have with Mexico, the one that he flies people right over and relocates into our country. If you were really concerned about what's taking place with illegal immigration in this country, you would treat it like you treat the political crisis that is the student loan debt. How stupid does he think we are? He's more aggressive, more innovative, more exploratory on making it so that you have to pay for your neighbor's student loans than he is in making sure that we don't have people flooding into this country who have to live on our dime. Man, there's not a penny of yours that you haven't made yet that he hasn't spent yet. Why is it that he can say things like that out loud and not understand the gross and offensive irony that exists in the way he talks about, we're trying to do this, but we want to work with, we don't want to work in a way that is going to throw this into the courts and have everything overturned. We're trying to work with the system. Bull crap. It is not the case that this is how you operate, because we see it right now. Parallel crises the Biden administration is facing. And ironically, I think at the end of both of these crises, he's doing what's best, he thinks, for future votes. It's the only thing that makes any of this make sense. And I also don't believe for a second that even if he has the mental capacity to understand the irony here, they know, they get it. They're not tuning into the Annie Frey. They're not tuning into the Annie Frey show. They should. They're not tuning into the show and going, "Oh my gosh, she makes a great point. I hadn't thought of it that way." They know exactly what they're doing. It's all political, and it's all being done to make sure that they retain power at the highest levels in the broadest sense. There's one other thing that he continues to say. This really gets under my skin when he talks like this. Listen.
Our administration has already cut the deficit by $1 trillion. I'm going to cut it even more this decade by making big corporations and very wealthy begin to pay their fair share.
Well, I could understand about 75% of the words that he slurred together there. But when he talks about cutting the deficit, he's not actually cutting the deficit if you look at the deficit clock, which all you have to do, I guess it's the national debt. Thomas Massey, congressman from Kentucky, he wears a national debt calculator like a total nerd, but I'm all about it, on his pocket, on his suit coat. He's got an active, working debt clock that shows the amass of debt that the United States government is enduring, and it just ticks up right there on his suit coat. I guess he never stops thinking about it. I wish more people were like that. When he talks about cutting the deficit, they're still spending more money than we have. They're spending more money at a slower rate. And yet, on a political campaign speech or in a 10-second clip like that, they get to brag about cutting the deficit. It's not accurate. It's not true. It's not honest. And they know it. They're banking on people like you hearing that and one of two things: loving your Democrat roots so much or hating Donald Trump so much that's like just the nugget you need to go on today to be like, yeah, well, the president's cutting the deficit. I know there's a lot of spending, but the president's working hard to take care of that. The president's working hard to address the situation at the border. He wants to make sure that what he does is lawful and isn't going to get caught up in the courts and kicked back. So he is working on it, but it's just complicated. He is working on the student loan debt crisis that we have in this country. And, while I understand that as long as the American government is willing to print infinite amount of dollars and guarantee the colleges and universities and higher education system that the funds will be there no matter what price you charge, we will fund through a loan so that the colleges get paid. Isn't it frustrating to look at this whole system and see that the American people are having to lend the American people money that they are not going to pay back, and that the people who get to be at the peak of this pyramid scheme make sure that the colleges and the universities always get paid? When those loans don't get repaid, they get forgiven. When the interest isn't paid, the government doesn't get paid. And remember, when the government is getting paid, that's the American people, because the American people are the government. That money comes out of the taxpayer's pocket, goes into the university system, and then when it's supposed to be repaid by the people who are the catalyst to get it from here to there, it doesn't get back from there to here, but the colleges get paid. while having massive endowments, enormous tax breaks, and in many, many cases, foreign relationships with adversaries to our country that are influencing the direction that these universities go. It's a racket. All of this comes back to the YouTube live chat poll for today, which I encourage you to comment on today, because I really want to know the why we're voting the way we're voting on this one. Who will win the youth vote? Biden, Trump, or other? I think it's important to say that Biden is the default winner here. Something would have to be a seismic shift to push people away from the Democratic Party into the Republican Party, especially into the Trump camp. RFK Jr. is an option right now in many circumstances, so maybe it becomes an other. Maybe there's an instance where Joe Biden does something in the 11th hour and is able to retain or attract back that youth vote. But there are a lot of questions right now about where the youth of America are heading politically. In the midterm election in 2022, in the shadow of a repeal of Roe v. Wade and a promise, an empty promise by Joe Biden to just poof, like the fairy godmother you never have, make your student loan debt, that burden go away. You think that speaks to the youth? Of course it does. In the midst of all of this conversation about people who are talking about student loans, you took out the loan, you should have to pay the loan back. It frustrates me that there isn't enough conversation surrounding about the universities that are willing to take these astronomical amounts of money away from young students to provide them something in return that doesn't necessarily have value. But again, the colleges get paid. The universities get their due. I'm pretty sure it was Marco Rubio, and I don't remember which year it was, if it was 22, if it was 20, was talking about upon registration for a university and an approval of a loan, having to have some sort of declaration of the field of study that you wanted to enter in and an acknowledgement of what that field of study would A, cost, and B, pay. So that people taking out the loans could say, oh, okay, you want to go to some, hoity-toity fancy six-figure school and you're going to want to be a teacher? Well, you're going to make $50,000 after you've been teaching for a while, and you're going to have this income and this financial obligation to pay this loan back. Some sort of transparency so that schools couldn't just say, yeah, you know what, fill out your FAFSA. That's a whole different story for people out there who are trying to fill out FAFSAs. The delay in that system this year is very questionable. Fill out this information. Tell us about your financial situation, and we will make it rain for your college education. And then on the other side, you go, well, which party is going to forgive my debt? You can get a free college education. How many of those students go experience that educational process, kind of wake up a little bit through it, decide that they're going to have, a successful career? Maybe they have a business career, they've got a medical career, maybe they go into education and they were smart about where they went to get that degree, whatever it might be. And then you realize, I'm working my tail off here, and I didn't take out full loans for my education. Why am I paying back the loans for people who didn't even graduate? None of it's fair. It's not supposed to be fair. It's not designed to be fair. When you find yourself pulling your hair out because you just don't understand why people are doing what they're doing, it's probably because we're all thinking too hard on these issues. You're applying way too much thoughtful common sense to the circumstance. They are trying to influence votes, which means it's not about actual efficacy and policy. It's not about seeing it all the way through the bottom of the ninth to make sure that you get the W on the board. It's about November. It's only about November. What does it look like on Election Day? And in this country now, all of the days leading up to Election Days, which are also Election Days. What does it look like then? When you have the ballot in your hand, what is the temperature of the room? That's what they're trying to affect. It doesn't matter what happens after November. If they win in November, they get 4 more years. And I would honestly say, and it'd be hard, I dare somebody to try to convince me otherwise, what age bracket is going to be more influenceable than the youth? I think with age, you get a little more, I don't know if cynical is the right word for me, but you get a little more realistic about promises that are made and promises that are not kept. You kind of understand the political cycle a little bit more. And when you're young and you become engaged and you care passionately about specific issues, and that is a very good thing. It's important for our republic, for young people to be impassioned and active in those passions, but you gotta also understand how the game is played. And in my opinion, there will be no voting bloc that is tried to be more emotionally influenced in the coming months than young people. They will use the student loan burden, they will use abortion to emotionally sensitize young people to show up and vote due to empty promises that they feel like they can get away with. Will they get away with them? Is kind of the question. On our Yanni Fry YouTube channel, come say hi and leave us a comment after you vote. The live chat is located right there on the live broadcast on our YouTube channel. Who will win the youth vote? Is it going to be Biden, Trump, or somebody else? Go to the Yanni Fry YouTube channel and vote. We're going to have Greg Jarrett on the show with us when we come back. Always wonderful to have Fox News legal analyst Greg Jarrett on the show to talk about the latest in the legal challenges that a lot of our elected officials and former elected officials are facing right now. The hush money trial with Donald Trump starts Monday. What does that look like? I see the Trump camp continues to file appeals. They continue to lose appeals. Is it game time on Monday? Let's talk to Greg Jarrett about it when we come back. Don't go away.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Twitter @AnnieFryShow.
Air Comfort Service, online at aircomfortservice.com. They are always working extra hard to make sure that untimely phone call, my furnace isn't working, my air conditioner's not blowing cool air, not a fun phone call. Nobody wants, I talked to Corey one time, he's the owner of Air Comfort Service, and he's like, we know that nobody really is excited to make that phone call about their air conditioner. That's correct. It's good that he's aware of that. But that's why they work overtime, to make sure that they make it as absorbable for you as they possibly can. Right now at Air Comfort Service, you can save up to $4,200 with double carrier cool cash rebates on qualifying systems. One of the ways that they make this burden a little lighter for you. You can also qualify for 0% financing for up to 72 months. That helps you invest in the system, the up-to-date system that you need to put in your home to make sure that your comfort zone is accessible anytime you want to temperature control your house. They have 55 years of 5-star award-winning service. They've been to my home, the Fry home, multiple times for multiple needs, air conditioner included. I trust them in my home, I trust them around my family, and I absolutely trust them with my investment in my HVAC system. If you're in the business or in the market for a new air conditioner, or you aren't 100% sure if yours is in good working order, reach out to Air Comfort Service at 314-513-0091. 314-513-0091. Online at aircomfortservice.com.
You know, most people never get to sit down with elected officials and ask them about the important issues. I'm Judge Mike Carter, and that's exactly why I host the news talk program Justice and Journalism with me, Judge Mike Carter. My goal is to bring those who represent us closer to the people they serve. I ask the questions you would in a no-nonsense manner. That's why we've been able to interview so many top local, state, and federal officials, because as a judge, I offer an unbiased, one-on-one conversation that's hard to find elsewhere these days. Besides serving as judge, I have a journalism degree, which is how the name of the show, Justice and Journalism with me, Judge Mike Carter, evolved. You never know who we'll interview next, from Governor Parson to prosecutors, sports figures to Missouri business leaders. Justice and Journalism with me, Judge Mike Carter, airs on Fox and ABC. You can also watch our past shows at MikeCarter.com, where we ask the questions and let you be the judge.
If you'd like to see more of Judge Mike Carter's interviews on his program, Justice and Journalism, visit MikeCarter.com. That's MikeCarter.com.
Imagine having all the money you need for retirement, all the income, every month, guaranteed. That's Secure Future Investor, an indexed annuity tied to growth in the stock market, but without any risk of loss ever. It's guaranteed money for life income, no matter how long you live. Call 888-509-2228. 888-509-2228. Sponsored by GP Agency, Inc., Raleigh, North Carolina. Licensed in all states. Performance may vary. Consult with your financial professional before making an investment decision.
Retired or retiring soon? How much money do you need to live comfortably? Retirement Planners of America is here for you. Would you like to have financial peace of mind? Here's how. Step 1. Find out the amount of money you'll need to retire. Step 2. Have a plan to get there. Step 3. Make sure that plan can take advantage of market gains but protect you from market losses. Discover how to do all three with a free consultation at 800-508-6108. That's 800-508-6108.
All investments involve risk, including losses. Past performance does not guarantee future results.
Are you worried about market volatility in this election year? Are you concerned your money won't last you through retirement?
Hi, I'm Tammy Kershaw, and as a family-owned business, we are committed to protecting your retirement, whether you're nearing retirement or already retired. We have a lot of folks that aren't aware of all the new investment choices that are available, which give you growth and protection from losses at the same time. Are you aware of all the fees that you are currently paying? We can show you how to avoid those fees. So come in now for your free retirement review and get a second opinion on your retirement plan. And just for coming in, you'll get a copy of our latest edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. Let us show you how to retire with confidence.
We are proud to say we haven't lost a penny of our clients' money in 38 years, and we won't lose a penny of yours either. Let our family help your family. Call us now at 314-993-9494 or go online to retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is hiring licensed journeymen. Don't have a journeyman license? Air Comfort Service will help you get it. Get guaranteed hours year-round and more. Apply online at aircomfortservice.com.
Don't miss the Mark Cox Morning Show Spring Bourbon Fling at Clayton Winehouse. Kim St. Ange here. Join Mark and me on Thursday, April 18th. We'll try Green River, Redwood Empire, plus Big O Ginger Liqueur, Round Pond Wines, and more. Tickets are on sale now at 971talk.com/events.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Come and let yourself in. Make good on a promise. Never hurt again. If you're lost and loaded, you're broken down. Bring all of your trouble. Come lay 'em down.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. We're grateful that you are spending a little bit of your rainy St. Louis afternoon with us here. We are monitoring President Biden as he is having a joint press conference with the leader of Japan. And so if news breaks there, we will go to it. Want to get to our guest. Excited to have Greg Jarrett back on the show with us. He's Fox News legal analyst, former defense attorney and law professor, and author of The Constitution and Other Patriotic Documents. It's very good to know that people are still paying attention to them. Greg Jarrett, welcome back to the show. It's good to have you here.
Oh, Annie, good to be with you as always.
I wanted to kind of give ourselves a refresher of the hush money trial, which, as I understand it, is supposed to commence here on this coming Monday. I see that the Trump camp is filing appeal after appeal here and not really faring so well with those appeals. But I wanted to ask you to kind of set the table for what we're about to embark upon next week with a trial that involves Stormy Daniels, Michael Cohen, Donald Trump, of course, and Alvin Bragg.
Well, it's a three-ring circus, and, the ringmaster of the clown show is Alvin Bragg, who is the progressive Manhattan district attorney who campaigned on the promise to bring down Trump, which, of course, is a violation of the canons of ethics that govern prosecutors. Their job is to see that justice is done fairly and impartially, not to target a specific individual and misuse the law and mangle the evidence to bring charges against him. Bragg must know that his case is specious. But I don't think he cares. I mean, he's counting on the sympathies of a very liberal judge, Juan Merchan, and he's counting on the venom of a jury pool that will be dominated by Trump-hating New Yorkers. Forget about the constitutional standard of an impartial jury. That's being treated as a mere inconvenience rather than a right. The charges against the former president would be brought against no one else not named Trump. In fact, even the left-leaning New York Times could find no other instance in which a falsification of records case was elevated to a felony in such a manner. The most corrupt part of it is that Alvin Bragg, the DA, has still not identified what underlying crime Trump supposedly committed, which, of course, is required under the Sixth Amendment. The DA sort of vaguely accuses Trump of, quote, violating election laws. That's in the indictment. But he never specifies which laws. And the reason for the masquerade is pretty obvious. In a state case, a local prosecutor has no authority to charge federal crimes allegedly committed during the course of a federal election. But he's doing it anyway.
We're speaking with Greg Jarrett, of course. You know him from his great legal analysis on Fox News. You talked about the impartiality problem that Donald Trump faces in New York in this Alvin Bragg trial. Is that impartiality going to be enough to get a conviction for Donald Trump on this particular case?
Well, first of all, I wrote a column that said the judge, Juan Merchan, who wrongfully gagged Trump, unconstitutionally so, should recuse himself. And the principal reason is that, Merchan's daughter, adult daughter, who is a political activist and runs a very prominent consulting firm, has been making money off her father's case. Some $93 million in email solicitations in which, she touts the case over which her father presides. So she has a vested interest in the outcome of her dad's case, and that presents, under the rules that govern judges, a conflict of interest that demands disqualification. It's not voluntary, it's mandatory. At the very least, it creates the appearance of impropriety, which also violates ethical rules. And yet Merchan refuses to recuse himself. And it's just one of the many bases that, Trump is seeking, a higher court review and also a change of venue. But, absent an 11th hour reprieve, Donald Trump come Monday will be the first U.S. president to face a criminal trial.
Yeah, it's pretty breathtaking, historically speaking. And as you mentioned, of all of the things that Donald Trump has been charged with here in the last, what would be a year, 18 months or so, this was the first, right? Weren't these the first charges that were officially levied against Donald Trump? And I remember when that happened, people were like, this is pretty weak sauce. With everything that was coming in ahead, this one, even the lefties on CNN, MSNBC were like, I don't know about this one.
Yeah, I mean, even, veteran prosecutors who, might lean toward Bragg mocked it as, really a joke. Regardless of what you think about the payment to Stormy Daniels, it is not an illegal campaign donation, which Alvin Bragg, the DA, is charging. The Federal Election Commission investigated it and said, sorry, this doesn't constitute a campaign donation. Federal prosecutors looked at it. They agreed. There's no crime here. But Alvin Bragg is bringing it anyway, even though he has no jurisdiction to bring such charges. These payments in exchange for silence, you can call them, hush money if you want, but they're perfectly legal. They're quite common. I used to negotiate them all the time when I was a practicing lawyer. Corporations do it on a daily basis. And the biggest charade in all of this is that Bragg's so-called star witness is Michael Cohen, who is, of course, a notorious liar who told so many whoppers and admitted to them that he was shipped off to the Huskow on perjury convictions. I mean, this case is truly a joke. But, the only thing, as I say, that Bragg has going for him is, a jury pool that is going to hate Donald Trump, and they'll ignore the rules of evidence and the law and likely convict.
That's kind of the question that's how I always end up with my eyebrow raised at the end. I can listen to your great analysis on this particular case. A lot of your colleagues who are doing the same. And a lot of people are saying that this is shoddy work and that this is obviously vendetta driven. But at the end of the day, if the jury pool hates the man when you come in and you're not going to be able to find a balanced jury pool, it looks like Donald Trump can't get a fair trial, just period. What happens? Well, I guess just that's the question. What happens after this trial commences and he's got to face those circumstances?
It goes up on review to higher courts that will, I hope, be far more neutral and objective. And I think, reverse any conviction. We certainly saw that in the Bob McDonnell, governor of Virginia case, brought by Jack Smith, special counsel in the 2 Trump cases. But the damage, was done. And that's, I think, the template for Democrats and Joe Biden's Department of Justice. Obtain a wrongful conviction. And by the time it's overturned by the higher courts, the damage will have been done. It will have negatively impacted Trump in the upcoming election. So this is nothing more than election interference by unscrupulous and unprincipled prosecutors.
We're speaking with Greg Jarrett right now, Fox News legal analyst. I have people who watch our show every day. We stream it on YouTube as well. Commenters who are not fans of Trump, and they remind me of the 91 felonies or whatever the number is right now. I'm looking at a New York Times article right now. This case alone holds 34 felony counts. Is that correct? Am I reading this right?
Yeah, that's true. 34. I mean, basically, you have one incidence of hush money payments in which Alvin Bragg says, well, because the reimbursements are reflected in, 34 different invoices, receipts, and transfers, we're going to charge 34 separate crimes, which, no prosecutor would ever do. But Alvin Bragg is doing it to run up the numbers. So, it's another, part of the charade.
I'm also reading here that each count carries a maximum prison sentence of 4 years. Is there any chance at all, Greg Jarrett, that Donald Trump is in prison over this?
Well, he would have any sentence stayed pending an appeal. And again, I think an appellate court will take a look at this and toss it out. There are just too many problems with it, not the least of which is that Bragg really doesn't have jurisdiction to charge federal violations of campaign donations in a federal presidential election as a local prosecutor. But, this is, the sort of thing that Fani Willis is doing down in Georgia. And these cases all have a common denominator. They are politically motivated. They were filed and timed so that they would the trials and any convictions would occur just before the presidential election to help Biden and harm Trump.
So that was going to be my final question, Greg Jarrett. The timing of all of this, November 5th, that's D-Day here. Do you expect that they'll get their conviction or the conclusion of this trial and the appeal process will have seen its natural conclusion before November 5th?
The appeal would take more than a year.
Okay.
But modus operandi by Biden Democrats to go after Trump, to interfere in the election, is boomeranging against them.
Yeah.
The more they indict, the more they charge, the more his support is solidified, and he seems to be gaining new voters because Americans are smart. They see this for what it is, that Trump is a victim, not a villain here, and he's a victim of overzealous prosecutions triggered by the demands of Joe Biden himself. He told his top aides he wanted Trump to be prosecuted. They immediately leaked it to the New York Times, and from there, Merrick Garland took his marching orders, appointed Jack Smith as special counsel, and the slew of indictments began.
Well, we will hold on tight, and we will have you back as soon as you'll have us. Greg Jarrett, thank you for being with us here today. We really appreciate that precursor to what we're going to dive into on Monday.
My pleasure, Annie. Take care.
You as well. Bye-bye. Greg Jarrett is the Fox News legal analyst, former defense attorney and law professor, and get his book, The Constitution and Other Patriotic Documents. You can follow him on X at Greg Jarrett. Greg with 2 G's. Actually, I guess it's 3 G's. There's 2 at the end. 2 R's, 2 T's. Go tell him thank you for coming on the show if you enjoyed that conversation. Quick break. When we come back, Wiggins America in studio. Can having siblings be harmful to your health? I don't know what the conclusion is going to be here, but I also don't know what the solution is. So I don't know. It's just like good news, bad news. We'll find out from Ryan Wiggins when he gets in the studio here in just a minute. And our YouTube live chat poll, we need to know who's going to win the youth vote, Biden, Trump, or someone else. Annie Fry YouTube channel, live broadcast, live chat poll. We'll be right back.
Same old thing.
The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
We're all dirty, like corrupted small town. Bring our trouble, bring our trouble. Lay 'em down.
Stewart's American Mortgage and the Bagel Loan are a text or phone call away. 314-324-4440. 314-324-4440. When you Google the Bagel Loan, you're going to find out everything you need to know about the Bagel Loan, but let me sum up for you here real quick. The Bagel Loan is a mortgage that you're going to get without paying closing costs, and that's really the sum of it. When you partner with Stewie at Stewart's American Mortgage, I have done this 2 times myself, doing a Bagel Loan refinance. You might be interested in that yourself. One time I did it to get a lower rate. The second time I did it, I got an additionally lower rate, and I took some cash out to replace a wobbly deck on my house. You go to Stewie and you get that mortgage secured, and you don't have to pay those thousands of dollars of closing costs that the other lender that you might have been ushered to. It's the person who your realtor traditionally does business with. They're probably great people. They probably do a great job, but they can't give you the Bagel Loan. They just can't. It's only at Stewart's American Mortgage, and that's where you don't pay the closing costs. Don't miss out on the opportunity to save thousands by getting a Bagel Loan with Stewart's American Mortgage. 314-324-4440, 314-324-4440. Google the Bagel Loan, NMLS number 226715.
Mike Carter here of Carter Law Offices. You know, as an attorney, I make my way across the great state of Missouri on a pretty regular basis. And from the rivers to the lakes and the Ozark Mountains, it's really just a pleasure to travel across the great state of Missouri. And, you know, not to mention, we have the best sports team and the best cities and the friendliest small towns in America, it seems like. And Carter Law Offices wants to make sure Missouri's story gets out far and wide about our excellent business climate, our exceptional workforce. You'll hear more from me soon, Mike Carter.
Visit MikeCarter.com to see Mike's interviews with all of Missouri's elected leaders.
Mike Carter here of Carter Law Offices. You know, as an attorney, I make my way across the great state of Missouri on a pretty regular basis. And from the rivers to the lakes and the Ozark Mountains and the richest farmland around, it's really just a pleasure to travel across the great state of Missouri. And, you know, not to mention, we have the best sports team and the best cities and the friendliest small towns in America, it seems like. And Carter Law Offices wants to make sure Missouri's story gets out far and wide about our excellent business climate, our exceptional workforce. You'll hear more from me soon, Mike Carter.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
I have a question regarding air conditioning. What temperature outside does it need to be before you turn, or your spouse or your dad or mom, grandma, grandpa, or whoever is in charge of the thermostat? What temperature outside? is your air conditioning turned on. My house, it's when it gets over 70, 72 degrees, the air conditioner is without a question coming on, especially if it's 70 or 72 degrees in the evening when I'm getting ready to go to bed. I need it at 68. That's me. How about if I told you there was a way that if you did call me and I showed you how you can keep your temperature where you want it, where you're comfortable, and maybe not spend any more? If you're interested, then call me. It's Bart Inman, 314-293-2600 or bartinman.com. Plus 0% for 60 months on the brands that we offer you.
More good news for Frederick Roofing, voted best roofing company by the St. Louis Post-Dispatch.
For a hole in your roof or a whole new roof, Frederick Roofing.
314-645-2000.
You've listened to 97.1 FM Talk. You've heard of Doug Voss of Voss Financial and Safe Money Radio, as he has been a staple as the financial expert on the station for many years. You can hear him on Safe Money Radio several times a weekend right here on 97.1 FM Talk. And you can talk to Doug Voss directly. Here's his number. Call Doug at 844-676-SAFE. That is 844-676-7233. Doug Voss is a registered representative. Securities offered through D.H. Hill Securities, LLP. Member FINRA and SIPC.
So just who will win the youth vote? Is it Biden, Trump, or somebody else? That's the Annie Fry YouTube live chat poll. It's the subject of our discussion today as well on the Annie Fry Show. It's also the subject of discussion in political circles across the country. So let us know what you think about this one. Who will win the youth vote this year? It is 12:46. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Don't miss the Mark Cox Morning Show Spring Bourbon Fling at Clayton Wine House. Join me and Kim April 18th from 5:30 to 8. We'll sample Proof and Wood, RD1, Four Roses, and more. Get your tickets now before they're gone at 971talk.com/events.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Fry Show.
She ride a bike, she has a crystal necklace, she spend a lot of cash, her vibes are rather reckless, heading for a crash, or her flowing skirt is blowing in a transcendental wind, and she wonders without knowing, where did we begin? Mary Mo!
You ever listen to songs and go, what are we talking about?
Yeah. That one's one of them.
I don't care, Mary Mo. Is it Mary Mo? It's probably not Mary Mo.
I still say Mary Mo, so.
Is it something else?
I assume it is. No, I assume it's Mary Mo. And case in point.
Man, I was just thinking of the other day, we were driving in the car, and what song came on? But Celine Dion's My Heart Will Go On.
Oh, it was because they had been listening to the show. And we mentioned Celine Dion, so they probably played it for that reason.
That has nothing to do with it. It was on the 90s channel. It's playing, and my daughter, my oldest daughter, is sitting in the car with me, and I go, because it starts the little flute or piccolo or whatever.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
doo-doo-doo. I'm like, do you know this song? She goes, no. I'm like, what? Like, it when you average out over the course of time, plays of songs, we're still in the surplus of My Heart Will Go On from the 90s. It hasn't evened out yet. You couldn't escape that song.
Oh, my gosh.
There is nothing funnier than the recorder version of that song
Yeah.
that it gets played in the background of things that didn't go quite the way they were supposed to be. And it's that beginning song, but it's like as if a 10-year-old was playing it in 5th grade at a recorder concert. She'd never heard that song. And then I started thinking about, okay, this song came out in 1998. I was in 8th grade. I saw Titanic. How many times did you see Titanic in theater?
3.
How many times?
0.
6.
Wow.
It was like $3 to go to the movies.
Yeah.
And there was nothing else to do, and nobody else wanted their movie to come out when Titanic came out.
And I realized real quickly that girls would go see movies with me.
Oh, yeah.
So I went 3 times.
I went and I was thinking about, I remember being in the theater, and we went with some boys, and I remember the cologne that one of the boys was wearing because I liked him.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Did you like the cologne?
Yeah. That's what I just said.
Well, I didn't know if you liked the boy or the cologne.
I liked the cologne on the boy.
Okay.
But anyway.
Which came first, the chicken or the egg?
But anyway, we were just a bunch of 8th graders sitting in the theater. We got dropped off. We went in. We watched it. She's full frontal.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
And I'm like, my son's an 8th grader. I'm like, no way in heck am I sitting in there. And then I'm like, wait, should I? But I don't know.
Oh, no,
I don't know. I'm having these moments where my kids are now old enough to be doing the things that I remember doing in the absence of my parents, but it's not like they didn't. I saw it 6 times. It had to have been by times 3, 4, 5, and 6 that they were like, well, I guess I know what she's going to see today. And I was with isn't it weird, though, to think, like, were we doing it the right way? I'm a present mother. I try not to be hovery. I try to do my best, but that's just a thought. And that all came from the fact that my daughter didn't know my heart will go on.
I love that you're asking her the question, have you heard this song? You don't know this song? I remember being a kid and my dad asking me that question about 60s and 70s songs. And I would always be like, well, no, of course I've never heard this song. I was born in 1981.
Yeah.
Now I do the exact same thing to my kids. Oh my gosh, you've never heard this song?
It's like, how?
Yeah, this song is pervasive. I know you're only 6, but you should have.
Wiggins!
Oh! Wiggins! Speaking of family issues.
Yeah.
The article here originally appeared in the Journal of Family Issues, so apropos, about having siblings. Is it harmful to your health? Is it helpful to your health? Or is it kind of in between? So they list a bunch of things.
I think at the end of this, whatever we determine, you're just set the way you are, though.
Yeah, I don't think you can do a whole lot about it.
No.
It's just something you're just going to have to live
Like,
with.
I wasn't involved in that decision.
Yeah, so not a whole lot of choices, but it is something at least to think about. Let's start with the negatives, or at least the ones they perceived as negatives. I want to know what you guys think. Both as Annie, as parents of siblings, of kids who are siblings, and then as a sibling yourself growing up. The first one is limited resources. This is supposed to be a negative. At simple math, the more people there are to care for, assuming resources and parental capacity remain the same, the more that those resources are divided up, leaving less to go around.
Oh, it's almost like life.
It almost is like living on a budget. But they're saying that the less kids you have, the more you can devote to each child. And that is a better thing in the view of this study.
Yeah, if you're materialistic and wrong.
What about with just time?
No. Listen, folks, the world doesn't revolve around you. Nobody is out there spending all their time on you. I'm your mother, and I'm not spending all of my time on you. That's not the way it works.
I agree.
Don't get used to it.
Yeah, I
think
think
it ain't real.
I think it's actually a positive
Yeah.
in this sense because you do realize that the world doesn't revolve around you. I was an only child for 8 years. So I, for 8 years, did think that the world revolved around me, and you can see that bear out in my life. Number 2, competition. They say that competition is a bad thing.
What's the source of this article?
This is the Journal of Family Issues. Competition being a bad thing because siblings...
It's probably very respected.
Yeah. Siblings may compete for parental attention. Again, this is more the time thing.
Don't you see, like, athletically speaking, like, generally speaking, the younger kids end up having more athletic success because they grew up never winning, but always competing?
Oh, I never would have thought about that. We're not quite at that age yet because my 6-year-old is just starting to get into sports.
Well, it's not just happening in your family.
Well, as a case study being my
the
family.
The idea that you would be in a situation where you are competing for everything, the chair you won at the table, the basketball in the driveway, whatever it might be, and if you're the little kid, you don't get what you want most of the time, so you got to work harder for it and have a little extra tude that goes along with the getting of it.
It makes sense. The next one is they say you have a more stressful home environment. Living in a home with lots of different personalities and individual behaviors can lead to a more chaotic home.
Like life.
Environment with lots of noise, less privacy, and more conflict.
Oh.
Yeah, we of course got to avoid all that stuff because the government can help us to do that once we get to be adults.
Oh.
I mean, they want to be our gods, right? Older siblings caring for younger ones. They're saying that that's a negative because in large families, older children often end up helping to care for younger children.
Darn right. That's why I got a 4th kid.
This can lead to children taking on the role of parents, known as parentification. and can cause stress and resentment
It's
at the loss
caused
of freedom for the older children.
responsibility and love. It's not a bad thing.
Now, on the flip side, the positives, they say, are first, better interpersonal skills. Major positive impact is that people have to learn to develop social and interpersonal skills much quicker and better in these environments than you would if you were an only child. I would think that would be a universal yes to
Well,
that
yeah.
one. More emotional support. It says if you have siblings, that can be like having built-in playmates, partners, friends, and companions for life. Right?
Emotional support?
That's what it says.
That sounds like it was written by somebody that didn't have siblings. I never rested on my brother for emotional support.
Never?
No, but you can't look at like when you were 8 and 6 or whatever the ages are and be like, where were you when I needed to be emotionally supported? Yeah, you punched me in the face and threw your yogurt on me. That's what you did. But when you're older, I mean, I've said this recently to my brother, like, we will age in a way that he and I are the only ones who are going to understand the most about the other one. Because we had the same childhood, but we're going to experience the same gains and same losses, where we are the only ones who are going to most closely understand what the other one is going through. I mean, of course, we'll have our spouses, but I understand that my husband and his brothers are going to experience things in a similar way that I can sympathize with at the time, but not empathize with, because this is different. The families that come together, you still have the family you came from. And your siblings are the ones who are going to be there as in older ages to be that emotional support, I would think.
And we've kind of highlighted this one already, but it says greater resilience. The challenges and conflicts that come with sibling relationships can teach individuals how to cope with difficulties and bounce back from setbacks and persist in the face of adversity. Completely agree with that. Completely agree with the positives. I think some of the negatives actually cause some of the positives, though. So
I don't think the negatives are negatives.
yeah, exactly. So some of the things that it says are negatives, I think, are the things that
Just
lead
seems
to
very
those positives.
subjective.
Agreed. But isn't that the nature of like the journal of whatever? This is the journal of family issues.
No, I would think that they would be objective
Then-
as being an
that's-
official study. Let's take a quick break. Deroy Murdock is going to be with us when we come back, and we're going to talk about Biden's border bloodbath. Yeah, I said it. We'll be right back.
Judge Mike Carter here to talk to you about my news talk program, Justice and Journalism with Judge Mike Carter. People ask, why is a judge a host of a news talk show? As a judge, I'm the neutral party that seeks to learn the truth and bring you the facts. Somewhere along the line, news shows lost that objectivity. Growing up, I can remember watching Walter Cronkite and knowing you could believe he didn't have a hidden agenda. Before I received my law degree and later became an elected judge for the past decade, I earned a master's degree in journalism at Mizzou, the very same journalism school Walter Cronkite attended. I was given a real appreciation for getting to the truth both as a judge and a journalist. Hence the name of my show, Justice and Journalism, with me, Judge Mike Carter. Here I focus on local newsmakers, personalities, and Missouri officials like Governor Parson, Lieutenant Governor Kehoe, Secretary of State Ashcroft, Attorney General Bailey, and many more. Justice and Journalism with me, Judge Mike Carter, airs on Fox and ABC. You can also watch our past shows at MikeCarter.com, where we ask the questions and let you be the judge.
If you'd like to see more of Judge Mike Carter's interviews on his program, Justice and Journalism, visit MikeCarter.com.
Well, I do investment properties. I just got a new rental house this week, actually, and the first call I'm making is to Rapid Rental Renovations from Sean and Kristen. They are at MurphyCleanoutServices.com, and the reason I'm calling them first is because this place needs some work. It needs some minor rehab. Now, even if you get a place that needs a lot of rehab, the great thing is you don't have to call 15 people to get all the work done. You don't have to lone wolf it either and try to do it all yourself. It's going to take longer if you do that. If you use Sean and Kristen with Murphy Cleanout Services, they can do everything for you. And when I was talking to them, they said 2 weeks. We can get all this stuff done in 2 weeks, really no matter what it is. So it is going to save you time for sure, but they get your business. They get that you're doing this to make money, so their bids are going to reflect that. It is worth a call to them for sure. You can find them, of course, excuse me, at MurphyCleanoutServices.com. Get their number, even if you don't need it right now, MurphyCleanoutServices.com.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio. 97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
He has a plan I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. President Biden offering those reassuring words about inflation after consumer prices rose more than expected for the third month in a row.
But look, we have dramatically reduced inflation from 9% down to close to 3%. We're in a situation where we're better situated than we were when we took office, where inflation was skyrocketing.
And the president says his economic plan is sustainable, accusing Republicans of only wanting to cut taxes for the wealthy. Though the president emphasizes efforts to lower costs for families, rent, gas prices, and auto insurance are among the categories keeping inflation elevated. Core prices, excluding food and energy, up 3.8% year over year in March. During a joint news conference with Japan's leader, President Biden says he's been blunt and straightforward with Israel's prime minister.
We'll see what he does in terms of meeting the commitments he made to me,
including more aid into Gaza and reducing civilian casualties. But he says it's up to Hamas to move on a ceasefire proposal. At this hour, the House is scheduled to hold an all-members briefing on the surveillance program known as FISA, with a key provision set to expire just 9 days from now.
The intelligence community says the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act is necessary to identify terror threats.
If you want to track terrorists or bad guys in Russia or China, you got to have FISA.
Nebraska Republican Congressman and retired Brigadier General Don Bacon. The House could vote this week on a bill to reauthorize Section 702 of the program that allows warrantless surveillance of foreign persons.
Fox's Ryan Schmelz on Capitol Hill. Some lawmakers on both sides of the aisle say there should be warrants required, especially when the FBI wants to access data from Americans collected as part of surveillance on foreign targets. Former President Trump urging lawmakers to kill FISA. America is listening to Fox News.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare information guide absolutely free. Call 800-919-3200. That's 800-919-3200. 800-919-3200.
Are you over 30 and putting off life insurance? It's time to get a quick quote from Ethos, a better, easier way to get term life insurance, all online with no medical exam. Answer a few health questions and you could be approved for up to $2 million. Isn't it worth 10 minutes to help protect your family's financial security? Ethos, up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Lots of clouds and kind of windy going through our Wednesday afternoon with periods of mainly light rain, 65. Tonight, periods of rain. Could be some spot rumbles here and there. Windy and 52. Thursday, periods of rain. Some spots of thunder. Windy and 62 degrees. Cleared out Thursday night. Sunny on Friday. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
The IRS definitely ramped up operations since the pandemic slowed them down, and activity only increases from here. Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. If you're currently under audit or you haven't paid your taxes in the past, now's the time to call the Lance Story Law Firm. The IRS has a published Taxpayer Bill of Rights, which says you have the right to retain legal representation, because IRS problems are legal problems, and the Lance Story Law Firm focuses specifically on addressing IRS issues for our clients. It's all we do. We get out in front of the IRS, devise the best resolution plan, and work to make sure you're able to take advantage of every program you're qualified to receive. So before you send money to some out-of-town, high-pressure company, call the Lance Story Law Firm. We're local, located right here in St. Louis, or visit Lance, DRURYlaw.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm, the Lance Story Law Firm, 314-260-6120.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
I want to talk to you about how April is mosquito time, and yay for warmer weather and being outside, and boo for the mosquitoes. Got people for that. Point Pest Control is right there ready to take care of your mosquito problem so that you can enjoy every single ounce of warm weather that we get being outside with your kids. It's such a huge, huge problem when you go and you're spending time outside and your kids are getting eaten up. You just can't put your kids in that position. Have Point Pest Control come solve this problem for you. When you call them at 636-798-0023, 636-798-0023, you're going to be connected with people who understand how to get to the root of the problem and make it not your problem any longer. They did that in my house with spiders and honestly every other bug that might have existed there that I don't even want to think about existing in my home. They came in the fall, they sprayed, they took care of business. I'm on a quarterly program right now, which you can sign up for as well. And you can not have to worry about this anymore. If mosquitoes are going to be a problem for you this spring, or if you got bugs in your house that you want to get rid of, reach out to Point Pest Control and have them solve your problem the same way they solved mine. 636-798-0023, pointpestcontrol.com.
If you need a new garage door, this could be your lucky day. Entries are now open for the $5,000 sweepstakes at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. The winner will be chosen at random to receive $5,000 towards new garage doors, openers, or front entry doors of their choice. Deadline to enter is the end of the month to win the $5,000 sweepstakes with Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Enter now at overheaddoorsstlouis.com. You can't win if you don't enter at overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
If you're a fan of 97.1, get a t-shirt. Visit 971talk.com/merch to see all the new t-shirt designs and show your support for St. Louis's home for conservative talk. 97.1 FM Talk.
If you need to sell your home to buy a new home, it's never been more important to have an experienced negotiator you can trust. You need my friends Mark and Neil Gelman of eXp Realty on your side, fighting for every dollar for you. Check out thegelmanteam.com. That's thegelmanteam.com. Hey, it's Mark Reardon. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how linking to the market is much safer than owning the market for your retirement savings. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go to retirementkey.com.
The Annie Fry Show YouTube live chat poll of the day is sponsored by Ruler Foods. Low prices, no coupons. Ruler Foods.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Every day we're almost hearing about an illegal immigrant that's committing a crime. The latest occurred in Illinois. Illegal immigrant now arrested for brutally killing his wife, almost beheading her. So this is the latest incident. We have to deal with this almost every day, from what happened with Lake and Riley to what happened right here in New Orleans, in the surrounding area in Kenner, where you had an illegal rape a 14-year-old girl, stab a man in the face. And the police chief here told me he can't keep up with all the problems that are coming here from across the border.
So we played a clip earlier in the show, and it's Joe Biden talking about how they're looking into what kind of power they have to shut down the border. And he talks about how, we could do things and they get caught up in the courts and then they get kicked back. So they're just looking into it. And then when you compare the apprehension that Joe Biden has on the border crisis, as articulated here in this piece from Real America's Voice, what they're willing to do and stretch beyond whatever the courts have already said to solve the student loan debt crisis, and the hesitation they have to stop more stories like this from coming. This is an absolute crisis at the southern border, and the president has a willful blind eye to it. Deroy Murdock joins us once again. He's a nationally syndicated columnist. You see him on Fox News as a Fox News contributor as well. Welcome back to the show, Deroy. It's good to have you here.
Annie, it's great to talk to you again.
I'm looking at this article that you have here. I think it's in Newsweek. Is that right? Newsmax. Excuse me.
Newsmax.
Yes.
Newsmax. Mm-hmm.
Newsmax. Trump blasts Biden's border bloodbath. Now, you invoked the bloodbath rule. I hope you're I hope you're ready for the bloodbath of criticism that comes for using that terrible, terrible word. What do you think about Joe Biden's responsibility here and what Trump needs to do to highlight it?
You mentioned, first of all, the bloodbath term. As you remember, President Trump used that to refer to what would happen with Chinese-designed, Mexican-manufactured electrical vehicles, and if these came in across the border, there would be an economic bloodbath in the auto industry. The left turned that into, oh my God, if Trump wins, if Trump doesn't win, there'll be a bloodbath in the streets. That's not what he said. So anyway, he decided to lean in that phrase and talk about Biden's border bloodbath, which is a literal bloodbath with dead bodies and rapes and stabbings. And this horrible story just said about an illegal alien who raped a woman and then stabbed a man in the face. This is happening all around the country. And the White House response is just a big, they shrug their shoulders. They couldn't care less. And the mayhem is a little hard to measure because when you're dealing with illegal people, they're very often kind of in the shadows. But Customs and Border Protection has some pretty good figures. Under Trump, between fiscal years 2017 and 2019, they count 8 foreign citizen criminals who are convicted of homicide or manslaughter. And during the equivalent first 3 fiscal years under Joe Biden, the equivalent number is 151 such convictions. That's up almost 1,800%. So 8 versus 151. And these numbers are horrible. And the actual human damage, we obviously know the case of Laken Riley down in Georgia, this nursing student who was attacked and beaten in the head with a rock by a Venezuelan illegal alien. She's now dead. In this piece I have in Newsmax, I cite a number of other examples. One is a guy from Brazil named Everton Candido. He came across the border, Tecate, California, in May 2021. You mentioned how there's a problem on the border. The problem goes all the way up to Canada, practically. This is in Medford, Massachusetts. He was driving without a license, smacked into and killed an Army veteran named Walter Wachowski, Jr., age 77. We know another character from Guatemala named Juan Carlos Garcia Rodriguez. He was at the southwest border January of 2023. He allegedly raped and strangled a little girl named Maria Gonzalez, age 11, packed her into a laundry basket and stashed her beneath his bed. Many of a lot of these people who are driving on the wrong side of the road, speeding along. One of them, I think actually in your state of Missouri, this woman smacked into a 11-year-old guy named Travis Wolf and his parents in Hazelwood, Missouri. I think not too far from where you are.
Right.
And the kid, 11 years old, was struck the day before his 12th birthday, went into a coma, and March 6th finally lost his battle and died. So he never made it to his 12th birthday, thanks to an illegal alien from Venezuela who was driving unlicensed on the wrong side of the road, 70 miles per hour in a 40-mile-per-hour zone. So this happens over and over and over, and every one of these crimes, these deaths, these awful tragedies, all of them are preventable if we would close our border, but Joe Biden has no interest in that because he wants to get as many illegal aliens across the border and get as many of them as voting as possible. And we already have 9 million of them here on his watch. And the number goes up, as you know, by the thousands and thousands every single day of the week.
Yeah. Deroy Murdock with us right now. I mean, we have major issues to address here. And of course, the first one is to stop the influx of people coming here. And then the secondary, but needs to be simultaneous issue to address is what to do with all of the people who came here. I'm wondering if I feel like there's a strong bipartisan resolve to stop the problem at the border right now. We have been weak in a bipartisan way. I think Republicans have at times been weak on this as well, in the idea that we need to send these individuals who came here illegally to the legal side of the border. And if they want to come here, they need to find the legal path to get here. I'm wondering if you think that the country is ready for that conversation right now.
Well, I think a lot of people want the system we had before and we've had for centuries, which is if you want to come to America, you do what my mother and father did and millions of other people have done, which is you go to the U.S. Embassy in your country, you fill out a visa application, and once the U.S. government, State Department gives you a visa, then you can come to the United States of America and enjoy the American dream, period. And if you want to come here, that's how you do it. If you break into the country, you have as much right to be here as somebody breaks into your house or breaks into the home or living room or kitchen of anybody listening to the sound of my voice. What you do is, in those cases, you call the police and say that somebody's broken into my home, get them out of here. And when these people break into our collective home, the United States of America, they should get one thing from us, which is a free ride back to the border and send them home, period, full stop. So, I'm very sympathetic to people who want to come to America legally, like my mother and father and grandparents and aunts and uncles and cousins did. If you come here legally, wonderful, be part of the American dream. But if you break into this country, you have no right to be here. You are trespassing, and you should be booted out of the country and deported with all deliberate speed.
Do you think that Donald Trump is effectively sending that message as he's campaigning on this issue? I mean, obviously, he's pinning a lot of it on Joe Biden, which is where the blame rightfully does belong, him and Mayorkas together. But Mayorkas is Joe Biden's problem and therefore all of ours. Do you think that the Trump administration, the Trump campaign has done what they need to do to articulate where they are on this issue? Do you think they need to do more?
I think he's doing a very good job of talking about the wide open border pretty much, I think, every time he's in front of a microphone or on TV or a rally or whatever it is. I think it would be very helpful for him to have a kind of roundtable meeting and just get a group of probably a couple dozen people who've had their children or spouses or loved ones killed by illegal aliens, just bring them in and let them tell their stories on camera. We know the Laken Riley story. Sadly, she's become sort of the poster girl for this problem, and some people might think that she's a one-off. There are one or two of these. There are hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands, of these people who've been some of them murdered, some of them hit and killed in accidents, what have you. And every single one, 100% of those are preventable. If these people had not come across the border illegally, those people would be alive and well and either going to nursing school, or this 12-year-old boy would probably be in his fifth or sixth grade class right now, maybe making his plans for the summer. Other people would be taking care of their kids who are now orphaned and so on. And I think it'd be very good for him to have a summit every couple months and just convene these people, let them tell their stories on camera and educate the American people that this isn't just a one or two person problem. This is a problem of hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of people. I think they call them angel families, where they've had people killed by illegal aliens. And I think that puts more pressure on the Democrats and Joe Biden to do something about this. And if they're not going to do something about it, then they'll have to pay a serious price at the polls in November as well. They should.
Deroy Murdock with us right now, Fox News contributor, nationally syndicated columnist. You can read his piece on this on Newsmax. And, I'm thinking about, I can't get over the way that this administration approaches this crisis they have in their head regarding student loans, and how they are willing to crawl through every dirty nook and cranny to try to make this thing stick, which is an obvious play for votes. But how they're just very apprehensive and cautious about what they're trying to do on the southern border. It's all disingenuous, it's dishonest, and it's all political. But I wonder how many people who aren't, up to their eyeballs in news and politics like you and I are, can see how completely and totally reactionary this administration is. They just stick their finger in the wind to wait to see the political headway, and then that's the direction that they head. I just don't know if it's going to translate to voters.
Well, I think we see it certainly on U.S. policy towards Israel. I mean, early on after the October 7th massacre, Biden, to his credit, was more or less sticking with Israel. And as all the protests on the left about Gaza and Israel out of Palestine, blah blah blah, all this sort of thing, and also these people voting uncommitted in the primaries and showing, hey, we're not happy about this. Biden's policy has gone from, hey, let's stand by Israel, and the other day he called for an immediate ceasefire and basically not let Bibi Netanyahu finish the job over there. So that, I think, is total pandering. On the business with the student loan debt, he's doing this despite the fact the U.S. Supreme Court said he doesn't have the authority to do this. If he wants to get Congress to pass a law to forgive student debt, that's fine. This House and Senate can pass it, put it on his desk, and he can sign it. He can't do this unilaterally because he's not King Joseph. He's President Biden, and yet, despite the U.S. Supreme Court saying very clearly you can't do this, he's going ahead and do it anyway. And then he'll lecture Donald J. Trump about violating democratic norms and being a threat to democracy, even though he's basically being a dictator on that issue. And then here on the border, you say reactive. You get a little bit of sort of window dressing. He's been to the border twice, but there doesn't seem to be any desire to clamp down on this influx of future Democrats of America, as I call them. The so-called compromise measure that was that's being debated in the Senate, I guess it passed the Senate, would allow 5,000 illegal aliens to come across per day. That's 1.8 million a year. So Biden's idea of shutting the border down is to let 1.8 million come across before he supposedly can push this button and shut the border down at once, he claims. Well, if he really has that power, why not push the button now and shut the border down today, like maybe at 3 p.m. Eastern time today? That might be a good time to do that. So if he really has the power to shut down the border, as he says, he ought to do it now and not let thousands and thousands of people come across, including, according to him, the compromise measures, 5,000 per day or 1.8 million a year. He sees these people as future Democrats who are either going to be voting illegally this November or legally once these folks get amnesty and citizenship naturalization. And I guess he figures at least 51% of them will vote Democrat, and that will be the Democrats' new margin of victory. I think that's what's 100% behind what's pushing this. And they've already got 9 million people across the border. And I know Trump wants to deport them, and I hope he does. That's not easily done, and I don't know how effective that will be. These people might just be here for good. Of course, they'll be having kids, and that number will go even higher.
Yeah. I just think about if the president felt like the politically expedient thing to do here was to throw everything at the wall to get the border secured, that he would sign every executive order he could and put in everything that he thought he had the executive power to do and say, make the courts come after me. Make the courts tell me no, because then I can say I tried this and I tried that. But the end game there of a secure border just doesn't seem to genuinely be what this administration and this president wants. And so they don't try. But you see him making the effort on the student loan payoff. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, well they as you say they go go through every legal nook and cranny, or not even illegal nook and cranny. To deliver this the student loan debt forgiveness. It's really not forgiveness. That's a misnomer. Really what it is student debt nationalization. Because not like those debts go away and just evaporate. What they're doing is basically taking them off the backs of people who owe money to pay off the student loans and then nationalizing it, and then all of us get to pay that bill off. So I think it's 13% of the country benefits. The other 87% of us get hit with the bill, including people who never went to college. People like me who went to college, took student loans and paid them off, and other people who might be working blue-collar jobs, never thought about going to college, and they're getting stuck with this bill. And the people who took these student loans, not at gunpoint. Nobody said, you better sign on that bottom line, we'll blow your brains out. These people voluntarily took these loans under the understanding that they would pay them off, and now, even without some of them even complaining, I don't want to pay for them, Daddy Biden comes in and says, oh, we're going to take this off your backs, including people probably have the means and maybe even the interest in paying them off. But if Biden's going to take care of it, why should they bother? And this is where we are. And I think the miscalculation might be that he believes enough people will benefit from this. They show up and vote for him in November. There may be enough people who are not benefiting from this, who are upset about this, who vote against him because they're not happy about these sorts of handouts and giveaways and that kind of thing. So he may pick up some votes on one side but lose even more on the other, and I really hope that's what happens.
Well, gosh, I'm just praying to God. That's what we're doing here to make sure that November 5th is something that restores common sense in this country. Deroy, we are always grateful for your common sense here on Wednesdays with us on the show. Thanks for being here.
And don't forget to work hard. That's another part of it, too.
That's right. Amen to that as well. Deroy, thank you.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Annie. Take care now. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye-bye. Nationally syndicated columnist and Fox News contributor Deroy Murdock. I think about Laken Riley, and her name has been she's the saddest way that you can be a poster child for the crisis that is in this country. But, good on Deroy for bringing up the Hazelwood situation here, because there are a lot of people in this country who are enduring what Laken Riley's family is enduring without the attention. It's just something that we are enduring as a country. It's something that we are having to deal with, and it is heart-wrenching at every turn. And every time one of these stories comes up and it just gets added to the folder, it makes it bigger, a fatter folder that you take out and you're like, oh, here's another one, put it in there. You hesitate to get desensitized by the depravity that is being permitted to exist here in this country. We don't respect law. We don't respect order. We don't identify victims who are truly victims, and we try to victimize criminals. We are so upside down in this country right now. Let's take a quick break. YouTube live chat poll. Who will win the youth vote? Biden, Trump, or other? If you go to the Annie Fry YouTube channel, come join us. Come say hi. And tell us who you think that youth vote is going to go for. A lot of people saying that it's trending towards Trump, and that would be a huge problem for Joe Biden. Can Donald Trump win the youth vote? I don't know. You can choose Biden, Trump, or other on the Annie Fry YouTube channel. Let's take a quick break. We'll be right back.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Twitter @Annie Fry Show.
Jen Teskey and Remax Alliance, these are the people. This is the team that you've been waiting for to get your home sold. Whether you have a 3-bed, 2-bath house and you want a 5-bed, 4.5-bath house, or maybe you've got the 5-bed, 4.5 bath house and everybody's moved on and moved away and you want to downsize because you want to winter in Florida. That sounds lovely. Either one of these situations, when you go to Jen Teskey and Remax Alliance, you are going to get your house positioned for the best sale possible. When it comes to understanding the market on the Illinois side of the river, Jen Teskey is tops. She understands what houses are selling, how to position your home, to photograph your home, to make sure that you price your home right for maybe a bidding war because the market is going crazy again right now. Your conversation with Jen Teskey, which is just a conversation, no obligation, when you call her and you say, I'm kind of thinking about selling my house, wonder what we could get for it to see if it's worth our time. How fast would it sell? All those types of things. You call them, they walk you through the process, and then hopefully you understand immediately, because most people do, how valuable Jen Teskey is in this process. She's with Remax Alliance, and she's a phone call or a text message away. 618-541-1010. 618-541-1010. It's Teskey with an E, JenTeskeyHomes.com.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-700-6898. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-700-6898. That's 800-700-6898. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. 800-700-6898.
Are you the decision maker in your company? Consider this. For the first time in decades, there's a better option for a corporate card and spend management platform. Meet Ramp, the only corporate card and spend management system designed to help you spend less money so you can make more. Most corporate credit cards offer points as incentives, but those points amount to less than their worth in real cash value. Ramp's corporate cards offer you cash back, real money in your pocket. Plus, you control who spends what with each vendor, and Ramp software collects and verifies receipts automatically, which means you'll stop wasteful spending and close your books in hours instead of days. Businesses that use Ramp add up to 5% to their bottom line the first year. If you're a decision maker, adding Ramp could be one of the best decisions you've ever made. And now, get $250 when you join Ramp. Just go to ramp.com/free. Ramp.com/free. RAMP.com/free.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank and Celtic Bank, members FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
Mike Carter here of Carter Law Offices. You know, as an attorney, I make my way across the great state of Missouri on a pretty regular basis. And from the rivers to the lakes and the Ozark Mountains, it's really just a pleasure to travel across the great state of Missouri. And, you know, not to mention, we have the best sports team and the best cities and the friendliest small towns in America, it seems like. And Carter Law Offices wants to make sure Missouri's story gets out far and wide about our excellent business climate, our exceptional workforce. You'll hear more from me soon, Mike Carter.
Visit MikeCarter.com to see Mike's interviews with all of Missouri's elected leaders.
Mike Carter here of Carter Law Offices. You know, as an attorney, I make my way across the great state of Missouri on a pretty regular basis. And from the rivers to the lakes and the Ozark Mountains and the richest farmland around, it's really just a pleasure to travel across the great state of Missouri. And, you know, not to mention, we have the best sports team and the best cities and the friendliest small towns in America, it seems like. And Carter Law Offices wants to make sure Missouri's story gets out far and wide about our excellent business climate, our exceptional professional workforce. You'll hear more from me soon, Mike Carter.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Diamonds Direct spring sale starts this weekend. Get 20% off rings, earrings, pendants, bracelets, and more. It's the best store-wide sale of the season. Plus, book an appointment and get an additional $100 off. That's right, 20% savings plus an extra $100 off. Also enjoy an expanded selection of the latest style with designer appearances each weekend. Tons of engagement rings on sale too. 20% off starts Friday and open this Sunday as well. Details at diamondsdirect.com.
You've been listening to the very popular Wellness One for many years, Saturdays and Sundays on 97.1 FM Talk. We're happy to share that we've expanded the show to 4 times a week. Yes, 4 times every weekend. Saturday at 10 a.m., Saturday at 8 p.m., Sunday at 9 a.m., and Sunday at 2 p.m. It's the same great show designed to cut through the nonsense and provide you a common sense, science-based strategy for a healthy life. So join TJ and Aaron for Wellness One. Now 4 times a week on 97.1 FM Talk.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Get in your comfort zone with double carrier cool cash rebates up to $4,200 and 0% financing for up to 72 months on a new HVAC system. For details and a free estimate, visit aircomfortservice.com.
The Mark Reardon Show.
Bruce Abramson is here.
The brilliance of the American system was that we were founded on an incomplete religion. Jefferson, writing the Declaration of Independence, he didn't write a system. What he wrote was a platform.
Weekdays from 3 to 6. This is the Annie Fry Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Fry Show.
Welcome back. We just got an Amber Alert for Perryville, Missouri. I assume that everybody listening right now gets the same. Did you get one on your phone?
I don't think so.
Pick your phone up.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. No, I don't have one from.
You don't?
No.
I think you can set those to. That's very south from here. I'm looking it up.
Yeah.
It's like due west from Carbondale.
Yeah.
Across, but still, I'm just gonna. Okay. Perryville, Missouri, white 2007 Mercury Grand Marquis. AL plate. Is that an Alabama plate?
Yes.
50A242P. We got a lot of truck drivers who listen to the show.
Mm-hmm.
White 2007 Mercury Grand Marquis. That's all I know. And that is just an absolute nightmare. I was in Florida one time, and I'll just say at a densely populated location. And there was an Amber Alert that went off, and everybody's phones go off at the same time. It's kind of disconcerting, and then you realize what it is, and you count your blessings, and you say a prayer. So a prayer goes up for that situation. I talked to my boss about this, and I got the okay to do this. So there's a story that I wanted to talk. I've been dealing with this, and everybody has stuff going on in their own lives, and it becomes, if something happens in your life, and you got to go do, you got to go to work, you got to do the job, you got to raise the kids, you got to drive them where they need to be, you got whatever. Everybody knows what it's like to experience something that's really jarring personally and have to kind of channel it and keep moving in the rest of the places, and you can't bring it up to everybody and talk about it all the time. I've been experiencing some of this, but not directly towards myself, but from a very dear friend of mine. And I want to take the opportunity to talk about this a little bit, because there is an opportunity for me to ask for help And, if you've got the help to give, you have the help to give. If you don't, you don't. But there has been an enormous dosage to me of perspective in the last 4 days because one of my lifelong friends was in an incredibly tragic car accident on Sunday. And she was in the car with her husband and her aunt and their 7-year-old child. Their 7-year-old child is just 3 weeks, I think, younger than my Evelyn. She's like 7, going to be 8 here in a few weeks. And there was a car that crossed over the median. I'm not 100% sure of the specifics of the detail of the accident. It's not like it matters. The car was being driven by the reports in the news are a 91-year-old woman and hit my friend's car head on. The woman driving the other vehicle passed away. My friend's aunt passed away. My friend and her husband and their 7-year-old child are in 3 separate hospitals in St. Louis, and they're going to make it. And it's amazing from what I understand from the accident that they're going to make it. But there's an extra wrinkle here that their child, their 7-year-old daughter, is special needs, like 24/7 care special needs. And I don't know, I'm not going to give the details of all of the different things that they're going through, but they are having to face a lot of surgeries. They're going to have a lot of rehab ahead of them. And it is, Brad, when you think about like the stuff that we meander through on a daily basis, really impactful stuff.
Yes.
We're talking in the last segment about Deroy Murdock and the border crisis and these people who have lost their loved ones because of people who are here that came here outside of the processes set up for them. These are all important issues. It doesn't make them not important. But there was nothing about that car accident in that place and time and the people who were involved in that car accident that really involved good guys and bad guys or good policies and bad policies.
Right.
It was just a moment in time that changed the course of the life of my friend and her family. And, of course, the woman, the 91-year-old woman who was driving the other vehicle who lost her life, her family is going to mourn that. Another life was lost from my friend's family. And whenever something like that happens, you are forced to face the fragility of life. And when you're forced to look that square in the eyes, I can't help but think to myself, like, what actually matters here? The reason why I'm talking about this now is because the Alton Telegraph, the Edwardsville Intelligencer, there's some other local news media outlets. I think KMOV and KSDK both wrote articles about this. So this is a story that you might have seen in a feed somewhere. And I just want to tell you that these are lifelong friends of mine. Colby is a lifelong friend of mine. She was in my wedding. I've known John, her husband, since they were dating. They are salt of the earth people. They are eager to help people. They are the absolute best parents to their 7-year-old daughter who requires their love and affection and attention completely and totally. And in a moment where we get caught up and wrapped up in things that are feeling super oppressive on our heart, and then life has a way of saying, let's move all of that off the table and let's only put back on the table the things that really matter. I don't think that we can pass up the opportunity to take those moments and only put back on the table what really matters. And I'm also just kind of stopped in my tracks about the love and support that has come out of the woodwork for them. I've known Colby since I was 3 in preschool, like, with the sand table and the water table and Girl Scouts and sports and sleepovers and all of that stuff and first dates and boyfriends and marriages and children and everything. Like, I've gone through all of that. And you have these people in your life that are, like, in the moment in time, so incredible. Like, you do everything together. And then you maybe go off to college or someone takes a job and you move away and you aren't, especially when you become an adult, like, you're not living this parallel BFF life that you used to live before. But those really important relationships, regardless of frequency of physically being in the same place and same time, those relationships, they last a lifetime. Those real relationships, those people are part of the fabric of who you are. And as somebody who has known Colby since basically Colby knew Colby, and seeing so many people react to support this family in this incredible, and I'm saying incredible time of need. What a measure of the life that they are still living, thank God, of how many people we touch and how many impressions that we get to make on any given day, how many lives we get to impact and how many people get to impact our lives. It's like this idea that we're just doing this all by ourselves and kind of like this isolationist thing that I know that I can sometimes find myself in because I have a protective barrier and my job sometimes causes that to be the case. My stubbornness and my introversion sometimes causes that to be the case. But when I get to look from the outside, looking in on the people who are coming out of the woodwork to support this family, and I mean, there are so many names that I've never heard of. These are real people who love this family. It is an incredible suffering and tragedy to see what they're going through, but a veiled blessing to understand how important we are all to one another. I'm going to share the GoFundMe on my Twitter page, Annie Fry Show. And they've got I mean, it's amazing to see what people have been doing in like 2 days' time. Because I don't think that this was created. One of the news reports that I read said that it was created Monday night. And, when I had heard of the accident, I actually had heard of the accident. The accident was so awful and the location was somewhat near my home. I had heard about it and I had talked to my mother-in-law because it was close to where I knew that she would have been that day. And I had talked to them and he's like, hey, you know anything about this? And they had actually seen it, the aftermath of it. And it was that big of an accident. It wasn't until, I don't know, hours and hours and hours passed when I had looked into it. I think it was the next day when I realized that I knew very well the people who were in this car accident. I'm going to share this. I mean, if you have the ability to help this family, when you read about this family on the GoFundMe, you're going to see a little bit more, read a little bit more, learn a little bit more about why they're going to need this type of help. The amount of rehab that they have ahead of them is enormous. And the final thing that I'll say about this is that the amount of people who are connected to this family and love this family, who have all at once come together to lift them up in prayer, is a really beautiful thing. And I am the type of person, I don't know if it was like pre-COVID or I don't know when I officially shifted my mind in this, but it's really easy. And the left, like in a political realm, the left makes fun of the right for saying thoughts and prayers. Like, oh yeah, let's see how those thoughts and prayers are working out right now. I am guilty of telling people I'll pray for you and not actively, emphatically praying for those people. And this idea that somehow or another, like, you got to be good at prayer, or a prayer has qualifications, or that a prayer is something that needs to be done in a particular way. Brad, I'll lean on you for this as somebody who is a pastor and has training in this. Like, I found myself almost burdening myself with the idea, if I say, Brad, I'm going to pray for you for whatever particular reason, like, the effort that it would take to put that in, I would like put that on the shelf for later and not get around to it.
because it just seemed like you had to do all these things in order to pray. And it's just so incredibly not the case.
No, it's not. As a matter of fact, you're supposed to be in a constant state of prayer, and it's just a constant connection with God and a constant conversation with God. But God being who he is, being all powerful, you don't have to have some sort of big, you don't have to light some candles, you don't have to have some sort of big poetic soliloquy to deliver to him. A prayer as simple as, God, be with them in this situation. And he knows your heart, and he knows all the words in your heart that you can't muster or get out or organize or whatever it is. He knows all those. He knows what you're trying to say. That he's able to work in that situation. The prayer there is something like, I'm going to pray for you on this. I don't know. For me, I think almost it would be better if you would just be like, can I pray for you right now?
Yeah.
Can I pray with you right now on this situation? And then you can be in a constant state of prayer over that situation afterwards. But like you were saying, sometimes people just use it as a throwaway phrase. All right, I'll pray for you.
Yeah. I have had to actively change my approach to that because, I do pray every night, but it's like if it's like something to help you go to sleep, I'll tell you this, I fall asleep talking to God most nights. It was like in the morning, I'm like, oh, I'm sorry about that. The greatest prayer that I have ever prayed was, I've alluded to this time in my life where I went through, it was about 7 years ago, just an enormous shift in where my life was headed, and in a very emotionally impactful, sorrowful way. And I spent a lot of time like trying to tell God what was up and say, this is how this needs to go. Listen up. And the moment that I realized that I needed to pray, like, I don't even need to understand it. I don't need to get it. Just give me peace with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, unchain me from the burden of trying to do this all myself. Just give me peace with it. And in my conversations with John, who is the dad in this situation, I mean, I don't get it, but this guy has joy right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to learn from it. So while this is a plea for you to help my friends, truly my friends, and their little family, the three of them, with a special needs child who is going to require care from parents who are not going to be able to provide it for I don't know how long. The goal that has been set at the GoFundMe is, in my opinion, not going to be enough to meet the needs that they're going to have. If you don't click on a GoFundMe link, if you don't learn more about this family, the reason why I want to bring this to you today is because I think that perspective is the greatest equalizer and motivator for us in all things, to understand our priorities, to understand like our true purpose, and to let that be your true north on anything, whether it's like where to have dinner tonight or who to vote for president or anything in between. That when life and people are actively participating in ripping us away from our true north to try to recalibrate that for us, that's when I feel hopelessness set in, because I don't know what, I don't have the thing guiding me back to the thing that gives me the correct heading and understanding and focus. And I have that this week because of what my friend has gone through, and I know would take it away in a heartbeat if I could, that burden that is on them. But I do have a platform, and I care about them too much not to tell you about it. So I will post at this break here, I'll post the GoFundMe on Twitter and ask if you are in a position to help. And I know not everybody is, but I know some of you are, and some of you have a heart for it, to consider helping my friends. We'll be right back.
It's all right.
The Perryville Police Department has issued an Amber Alert for a child abduction that occurred at Perryville, Missouri on March 19, 2024 at 12 p.m. Abducted was Asia Laron, unknown, male, age 3. Suspect vehicle is a white 2007 Mercury Grand Marquis sedan, 4-door bearing Alabama registration 50A242P. Suspect is Donald T. Laron, a white, male, 33, has brown hair and green eyes. Suspect has tattoos on both arms and a Liber tattoo on his left shoulder. Victim Asia Laron has brown hair and brown eyes. Suspect has contacted the victim's mother by phone and made credible threats towards the victim within the last 24 hours. Suspect and victim may currently be in Tennessee and are possibly traveling to Alabama. Please call 911 or Perryville Police Department at 573-547-4546 if you have any information pertaining to this alert.
Are you ready to smell better naked? I'm Dr. Shannon Klingman, the OBGYN creator of Lumi, the whole body deodorant that's clinically proven to control odor for 72 hours on pits, feet, privates, and beyond. It's pH optimized to safely and effectively control odor anywhere you have it, but wish you didn't. Plus, it's proven to work better than a shower with soap alone. Whether you shower twice a day or 3 times a week, Lumi works better. And who doesn't want zero body odor? With over 200,000 5-star reviews, I'm so sure you're going to love it, or you can return it for free.
There's a special offer for listeners. Use code 2222 and get 15% off your first purchase with code 2222, like the Lumi Starter Pack, Acidified Body Wash, or new Lumi Plus Sweat Control. That's LUMEdeodorant.com, code 2222 for 15% off your first purchase. Love it or return it for free. That's LUMEdeodorant.com, code 2222 to save 15% today.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-652-5241 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-652-5241. That's 800-652-5241. What do you have to lose? Call 800-652-5241. Again, 800-652-5241.
More good news for Frederick Roofing, voted best roofing company by the St. Louis Post-Dispatch.
For a hole in your roof or a whole new roof, Frederick Roofing.
314-645-2000.
Hi, I'm Libby, and I'm a patient at Cardinal Glennon. With your help, Homers for Health can make a huge impact on my hospital. From new spaces to new treatments, a difference is being made for patients every single day. Glennon kids like me owe everything to people like you. Please make your pledge for patients today at homersforhealth.org. Thank you so much for your support. Again, that's homersforhealth.org.
Today's YouTube live chat poll, who will win the youth vote? Will it be Biden? Will it be Trump? Or will it be other? We want to know your answer to that. If you vote other, we want to know who you vote will get that youth vote, or if anybody will get it. Jump on Annie's YouTube page to vote and weigh in. The time right now is 1:53. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Now, STS Armory, online at sts-armory.com, your destination for a whole host of things, but everything firearms. Have you been in the market for a new handgun? Maybe you are somebody who has thought about conceal and carry. cover a lot of stories, might make you want to be your own personal defense. I know that was the case for me. When I shop for my firearms at STS Armory, I am always asking a billion questions. And if they don't have the answer, which they usually do, they're always able to get the answer for me, along with great guidance and advice on why maybe this over that. Maybe the value on this one is a little less and it does the trick, or maybe you want to invest a little bit more for something else that might be on the market. STS knows the answers to these questions, but they also have the education services that you need. In the state of Illinois, if you want a conceal and carry license, I have mine. You want to make sure that you go with an educator who's going to be the best. That's what you find with Katie and Jesse at STS Armory. You can call them at 618-931-GUNS, 618-931-GUNS, and schedule your class today. They're located in Pontoon Beach, and they're also online right now at sts-armory.com.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Fry Show.
Jolene.
Of Jolene. That's good. Have you heard the Beyonce version?
I have not. I've heard there's much consternation about it, though.
What have you heard about it?
I heard it isn't very good.
It's terrible. I'm mad at it. And I wasn't mad at the Texas Hold'em thing as like the existence of a song. I don't understand Beyonce needing to be in country music. It seems forced and contrived. However, I also am not the defender of country music. I'm not being compensated in any way to like keep country music pure. And my estimation is in the last 15 years, nobody has been. I don't understand the Jolene remake. It's not like the whole point of that song. That was Miley Cyrus, by the way, singing that. And she does a great remake of it, a cover. The whole point of the song Jolene is to identify a scenario where a woman knows that her man has eyes for someone else and that she's going to lose this battle.
Mm-hmm.
And she's saying to Jolene, I know that I'm going to lose this battle. Would you take yourself out of this equation? Like, you do this for me. Is that like the ideal circumstance? Of course it's not. Is that something that people relate to? It is. And it's Dolly Parton, and it's amazing. And I think Miley Cyrus is country. Her roots are certainly country. I mean, she's like she's from country music. The Beyonce thing, last night, I think it was Ben Shapiro did one of his videos on it. And he was saying he's a country music fan, and Texas Hold'em wasn't the worst thing that he'd ever heard, but he didn't really feel like it was country music. I completely agreed with that.
Yeah.
And he played just a little clip of Jolene, and I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it was real. So then I did what I shouldn't have done, and I went and watched the music video.
Oh, no.
It's awful. It's terrible. What is happening? And it's like, it's all about Beyonce telling Jolene what's up, like, you're going to try to get my man, and you couldn't even possibly take it. And one of the lines is like, I raised him. And I'm like, oh, Lord have mercy.
Oh, gosh.
Like, we're just talking about different scenarios here. And Beyonce's voice, man, it just doesn't translate. Beautiful voice, weird application. We'll be right back.
And he talks about
Judge Mike Carter here to talk to you about my news talk program, Justice and Journalism with Judge Mike Carter. People ask, why is a judge a host of a news talk show? As a judge, I'm the neutral party that seeks to learn the truth and bring you the facts. Somewhere along the line, news shows lost that objectivity. Growing up, I can remember watching Walter Cronkite and knowing you could believe he didn't have a hidden agenda. Before I received my law degree and later became an elected judge for the past decade, I earned a master's degree in journalism at Mizzou, the very same journalism school Walter Cronkite attended. I was given a real appreciation passion for getting to the truth, both as a judge and a journalist. Hence the name of my show, Justice and Journalism, with me, Judge Mike Carter. Here I focus on local newsmakers, personalities, and Missouri officials like Governor Parson, Lieutenant Governor Kehoe, Secretary of State Ashcroft, Attorney General Bailey, and many more. Justice and Journalism with me, Judge Mike Carter, airs on Fox and ABC. You can also watch our past shows at MikeCarter.com, where we ask the questions and let you be the judge.
If you'd like to see more of Judge Mike Carter's interviews on his program, Justice and Journalism, visit MikeCarter.com.
Replacement windows are a phone call away. And when you reach out to Window World, you're going to understand why so many other people have used Window World as their investment to get rid of the old, drafty, broken down windows in their home. Probably builder's grade, put in the house. Who knows when the house was built. And it's time to call Window World. 314-993-1800. 314-993-1800. You can call for a free home estimate, and they'll show you how they are simply the best for less. They do not sacrifice quality with their window replacements to try to make them more affordable. They care about both, and that is why they have been so successful in delivering replacement windows across the St. Louis area for quite some time. The St. Louis location of Window World is owned, operated, and managed by a group of born and raised St. Louis residents for over 2 decades. So you can feel like you're shopping local when you get those replacement windows from Window World. Call them at 314-993-1800. Mention the Annie Fry Show when you do and get the process started today. WindowWorld.com.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio. 97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
A U.S. surveillance program is in limbo. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. A key part of the law known as FISA, the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, has just been blocked in the House, failing to clear a procedural hurdle for reauthorization, despite reforms aimed at addressing concerns about Section 702, which the intelligence community argues is vital for national security.
Several populist Republicans broke from their party over a lack of reforms, which includes a warrant requirement. Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene.
The Biden administration has proven that they will use their government against their political enemies.
Former President Trump encouraged members to reject FISA, despite Speaker Mike Johnson arguing the bill is over 50 reforms. And President Trump used the intel from the bill to stop terrorists when he was commander-in-chief.
Fox's Ron Schmelz on Capitol Hill. The former president arguing the law was also used illegally against him to spy on his 2016 campaign. The current surveillance program is scheduled to expire on April 19th. Meantime, Congresswoman Greene meeting with Speaker Mike Johnson for the first time since filing a motion to vacate, setting up a possible effort to oust him as House Speaker over his handling of conservative priorities. Greene describing today's meeting as passionate at times, but for now she's not advancing that vacate motion. President Biden and Japan's leader agreed to deepen military cooperation and planning.
The president says Japan is also joining a network of missile defense with Australia.
And are purely about defense and readiness. It's not aimed at any one nation or a threat to the region, and it doesn't have anything to do with conflict.
Still, both leaders say they discussed easing tensions with China and North Korea. Tomorrow, the president of the Philippines joins President Biden and Prime Minister Kishida for a summit on freedom of navigation in the South China Sea.
Fox's Jared Halpern at the White House, a state dinner planned for tonight. America is listening to Fox News.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare information guide absolutely free. Call 800-919-3200. That's 800-919-3200. 800-919-3200. Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Lots of clouds and kind of windy going through our Wednesday afternoon with periods of mainly light rain. 65 tonight, periods of rain. Could be some spot rumbles here and there. Windy and 52. Thursday, periods of rain. Some spots of thunder. Windy and 62 degrees. Cleared out Thursday night. Sunny on Friday. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
RulerFoods.com. My husband and I took the kiddos on Sunday to shop at Ruler Foods. I'm going to post a video. This is my problem. I make these videos when I'm shopping at the Ruler Foods in Collinsville, and then the time I put them together, it's 2 a.m. I want to post a video at 2 a.m. I'm going to do it after the show. The produce, the fresh produce that we were able to secure for our family at Ruler Foods on Sunday, I was really excited about it. We got avocados, we got berries, salads, we got jalapenos and seasonings and everything, and it all comes from Ruler Foods, and it's all a great way to save. Right now, you can save on raspberries and blackberries, a 6-ounce package, 99 cents. Heritage Farm boneless, skinless chicken breast, $2.49 a pound. You can get Kroger ground beef sold in a 3-pound roll at $2.99 a pound. But there are so many more savings to be had. All you got to do is find the Ruler Foods closest to you by going to the website at rulerfoods.com. Put in the zip code, and you'll see there the Ruler Foods is closest to you. Give them a chance to earn your business, and bring a quarter for the cart. Find them online at rulerfoods.com.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw with Retirement Advisory Group. Are you worried about market volatility in this election year? Are you concerned your money won't last you through retirement?
Hi, I'm Tammy Kershaw, and as a family-owned business, we are committed to protecting your retirement, whether you're nearing retirement or already retired. We have a lot of folks that aren't aware of all the new investment choices that are available, which give you growth and protection from losses at the same time. Are you aware of all the fees that you are currently paying? We can show you how to avoid those fees. So come in now for your free retirement review and get a second opinion on your retirement plan. And just for coming in, you'll get a copy of our latest edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. Let us show you how to retire with confidence.
We are proud to say we haven't lost a penny of our clients' money in 38 years, and we won't lose a penny of yours either. Let our family help your family. Call us now at 314-993-9494 or go online to retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
Hey guys, Glover here with my friends at Triton Exteriors, specifically my friend Tim Nesbitt, who is the owner. He is from the customer service business, 20 years in the restaurant business, so the answer is yes. What's the question? Anything you need. Hospitality, personal service, we're upscale, we're a James Hardy company, roofing and siding and gutters, and great value. Tim just texted me and he beat the next closest bid by $15,000 just this week. You can call 314-717-1159 or triton-stl.com.
Don't pay retail for your diamond engagement ring or gift. Come to cleanorigin.com, where experts in ecologically friendly lab-grown diamonds. Mention code RADIO10 for 10% off. That's cleanorigin.com online or one of our retail stores.
Don't miss the Mark Cox Morning Show Spring Bourbon Fling at Clayton Winehouse. Kim St. Ange here. Join Mark and me on Thursday, April 18 from 5:30 to 8 p.m. We'll try Proof and Wood, RD1, Four Roses, and more. Tickets are on sale now at 971talk.com/events.
The Annie Fry Show YouTube live chat poll of the day is sponsored by Ruler Foods. Low prices, no coupons. Ruler Foods.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio. I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. I appreciate you being with us this afternoon. We had a conversation at 12:25 with Greg Jarrett. He's the Fox News legal analyst, of course. And we were talking to him about the Trump hush money trial that will begin on Monday in New York. Alvin Bragg, I remember when Alvin Bragg came out and it was show-stopping stuff. Like, it was wall-to-wall coverage. Alvin Bragg officially charges Donald Trump 34 counts, 34 felonies. Of the 90, it's a third of what Donald Trump, when the lovable lefties out there want to remind you of how much they've charged against him. I'm always like, I know it's obnoxious, right? Like, that's what you're going with right here. 91 felonies, this guy? Okay. And a third of them are from Alvin Bragg and relying on Michael Cohen. You can't make this crap up. That is a Mad Lib of political nouns and what do you call the fancy nouns? The ones that you capitalize?
Proper
nouns. Proper nouns. There you go. It is a Mad Lib of people in the last 8 years all coming together and like, how can we use this against Donald Trump? Is it not outrageous that this was taking place in the allegation is about money that was spent before the November 2016 election, within the election, but like before the actual date of the election?
Yeah.
It's just so egregious that they're charging it now. Oh, okay. And you're using a professional liar to base your foundation on, along with somebody who's prosecuting it, who campaigned on getting Trump. Okay. This is the world we live in right now. And that show, which I was about to say here on the air, that starts Monday. It's hard to look away. It's kind of like the eclipse. Don't look directly at it. Make sure you have the filter in front of your face before you assess the situation. But is the coverage going to be wall to wall?
I don't know. I think like maybe for the first day or two, I don't know. Are they going to allow cameras in the courtroom?
I think Georgia. My recollection was that Georgia was the only one that was going to have that.
But then, they're going to have people set up outside. They're going to look for Trump to come out and say something about it.
And what's he going to say when he walks out?
This is a witch hunt.
This is
election interference.
Election interference. I got to make my Trump bingo card.
I remember when they did the first charges. I remember we were sitting in here going, "Oh, this is such a big deal! Like we're covering it," but there was nothing really to cover. They were like, Fox News was following the limo, and I think they were following the plane. And then we waited for a brief moment for Trump to walk out. And I mean, it was maybe 5 seconds.
Was that a day when Annie wasn't here?
No, I think Annie was.
Because we had Brad Young hosting one of those days.
There's been so many that I think the American...
So many days I wasn't here?
No.
Many days
many days that Trump's been charged with random things and you wait for him. But I think that was the first one. And so there was like all this interest in it because it was a precedent-setting event. And it's just kind of dwindled with every one that's come along since, that I just don't know if it's going to be wall-to-wall when they start doing this, or if it'll be like at the end of it, you get all of the important stuff.
They didn't wall-to-wall any of the other trials that he was in person for.
Not really.
You know, I mean, there was the one with E. Jean Carroll and all that other stuff, and they just reported on the results afterwards, or they would catch some footage of Trump coming out, you know, in between at a recess or something like that. And I feel like if you don't have cameras in the courtroom, you can't have wall-to-wall coverage of it. Sure, I think the first couple days they'll have, you know, people will have their legal experts on to talk about what the charges are and what the defense strategy is and all that other stuff. But as the trial drags on, because this thing isn't going to be like it's over kind of thing, it's going to drag on for a while. I think people will lose interest in it.
Trump bingo, let's make it happen. Hit me. What do you got?
Election interference for sure.
Got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is this stuff?
That's the second one. I have 3 spaces: election interference, witch hunt, and free, which I need to come up with a clever one like I did for the Biden one, which is socialism.
So this is stuff that he would say at a press conference.
No, just stuff that Trump would
general?
say. It could be anything.
Okay.
I'm
it's
gonna
true.
It's funny that you said that, because I was gonna say I'm gonna write in one of these squares. It really is.
It really is. That's another one.
Because I think he says it really is more than he says it's true. But my favorite Trumpism when he was president was when he'd be delivering a really important speech and being 99.5% on script, reading the teleprompter, something really big just happened, and then he'd say something, and it was a good point, and he would pause and go, "That's true." And it's like, right? All of it's true? Are you highlighting, which specific part are we talking about here that is true? It really is. I should put, like, as a punctuation, like, period, because the dude never ends a sentence, ever. Just runs out of time.
Corrupt Joe or Crooked Joe.
What is his nickname for him?
I think he's calling him Crooked Joe.
I was thinking the same thing. I can't pin it down.
I'm putting Bigley on here because he kind of says it jokingly, but I'm going to put it next to the free space. That's not always a...
How about fake news?
Fake news is a good one. That's a corner space. Fake news.
Gosh. Collusion, maybe? I'm trying to think of like buzzwords from the past. I don't know if that'll come up now, though.
Here's what we're going to do.
Huge.
He spoke today in Atlanta. Let's listen to some of the things that he said. He's in Atlanta for a fundraiser.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
And he's doing his favorite thing, which is to stand next to an airplane or a helicopter. So bear with us here. But he did speak for, you said that in total, like 10 minutes?
It's a 10-minute press conference.
I think that case has been totally discredited. It was a money-making scheme on behalf of her and her lover, Wade, Mr. and Mrs. Wade. And I think the case has been totally discredited, I would hope. It seems to be. And we'll see how that, and the one in New York is totally discredited. Every legal scholar said they have no case. It's a horrible thing, but it's election interference. It's all run by the White House.
Horrible?
Horrible.
He says horrible all the time.
You know what he also said every, and I know that's a weird one to put in there, but he makes these assumptions that every single person is saying the same thing. So
you're talking about like superlative.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do that.
Okay.
Horrible. Horrible.
Every one of the cases that you mentioned, as an example, Fonnie Wade, every single case is being run. Civil, criminal, it's election interference because Joe Biden can't put two sentences together. He can't find the stairs off the stage. Joe Biden is using this to try and get elected, and it's a shame.
It's a shame.
It's a shame is a good one.
Yeah. I'm just going to use the word shame. Shame.
What about they say? You know, they say that, he says that one a lot too.
Let's listen to this next
one. The Republican Party has a lot of money coming into it. It's coming in small donations.
Like we've never seen.
That's a good one.
He hasn't said it yet, but I want to say it now before he says it in here.
$51 average. We did some large donors the other night. We broke the all-time record, $52 million. We don't need the money that did. If you remember Hillary Clinton, I had about 1/3 the money that she had, and who won? I'm not exactly sure who won. So we don't need the same kind of money that they need. They need more money because they take care of more politicians. They hand it out like it's gravy. And when you look at what they did with Zuckerbucks and with the lock boxes and everything else, it's really a disgrace. We don't need nearly the money that they need. In Florida, as an example, I put up a very small amount of money. They put $300 million into Florida. I put peanuts into Florida, and I won by 2 million votes. So we don't need the same money that they need.
Okay, here's a couple that I'm reading that I really like. Jackie says China.
Okay.
Has to be on there. And then Pond says beautiful.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
It's a favorite adjective. And Scooter says people say.
Yeah.
So that's kind
of
that's kind of what you're saying. But he says people say. It's a disgrace. Did I already write that down?
No, that's a good one though.
That is a good one.
What about
is from Quick Rick?
What about believe me?
It's a disgrace. Yeah, we can do that.
Shouldn't we? It's almost required that we put "Make America Great Again" or something, some variation of that on there, right?
That could be the center one.
Yeah, I don't know if I don't know. It's a disgrace. G-Wib said that too. All right, let's keep listening to what he was saying here on the tarmac this afternoon in Atlanta.
Biden has totally lost control of the Israel situation. He has abandoned Israel. He's totally abandoned Israel. And frankly...
Totally is one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Totally is like beautiful.
Yeah.
It's working its way in there no matter what. Vicky and G-Wibs and other people are saying huge. It probably has to be on there. I'm going to spell it H-U-G-E, but we all get it. I'm going to add totally.
He's a low IQ individual. He has no idea where he is and who he's supporting. He doesn't know if he's supporting the Palestinians, but he knows one thing. He is not supporting Israel. He has abandoned Israel. And any Jewish person that votes for a Democrat or votes for Biden should have their head examined.
They're going to love that.
Yeah.
We know where that's headed. Here's more.
Between Afghanistan, high taxes, big inflation. Everything they do is bad. They want to quadruple everyone's taxes. There's no way that a man like this should be even allowed in government. As far as I'm concerned, he's a criminal.
Ooh, criminal. That word gets thrown around quite a bit. I don't know if that's unique to him.
This is vintage Trump stuff, though.
Yeah.
He is rapid fire, straight to the point, and not mincing words on his criticisms of Joe Biden. I think it's good.
I think we're going to have a tremendous victory. I predict that November 5th will go down as the most important day in the history of our country. That's Election Day. It's going to be the most important day and moment in the history of our country. We're going to close up our borders, and we're taking all of the criminals out, because many of the people that came in, they came from jails, they came from insane asylums and mental institutions, many terrorists, many drug dealers at the highest level. They're all coming into our country. I predict that November 5th, it's all going to turn around. We're going to get our country back.
That sounds nice. Let's make that happen. Here's the last one from Atlanta
This
today.
incompetent man that's president, he's a terrible person. He's a terrible president. He's a Manchurian candidate if you look at him, because he gets money from everybody. He's a Manchurian candidate. I predict that Biden is going to be gone. In 6 months now, that's all we have. But 6 months is a long time, because the damage he can do in 6 months, he's done more damage than the 10 worst presidents in the history of our country. There has never been anybody that's damaged our country like crooked Joe Biden. So I predict November 5th, the most important day in the history of our country, and it's going to be Christian Visibility Day. Christian Visibility Day. Christians are going to come out and they're going to vote like never before.
Like never before.
Thank you very much.
I have like we've never seen, and I have horrible, but there's also terrible.
Terrible.
And Manchurian candidate, I've heard him say that multiple times.
I've heard him use low IQ a lot, too.
Low IQ? They were saying that on the chat, too. Low IQ. I'm just going to leave a low IQ.
Worst/best we've ever seen. I mean, that.
I have like we've never seen.
Okay.
That's just like a bunch of different variations of the same thing. Banana Republic. Lawfare.
Lawfare would be a good one.
Guy said that. Lawfare. I think he says, I'm going to write Banana Republic as an extra one, because when I make these, I have more possibilities than I have spaces, because it turns into people having more cards. Banana Republic.
What about they're laughing at us? I didn't hear it in that one necessarily, but it's one that I hear him say pretty often.
I don't know.
The world is laughing at us, or
Crooked.
Crooked is definitely one.
Crooked Hillary. Crooked Joe Biden. Nasty. Because, okay, so George says nasty. Hasn't he said nasty? I was thinking ugly as one of them, because he refers to things that are distasteful, or it's not just a physicality appearance thing, but he'll say that like somebody is ugly, and it means like how they act.
Yeah.
What about, do you have Believe Me already?
Yes.
Believe Me. Winning, some sort of variation of you're going to get tired of winning.
I have 1, 2, 3 spots that aren't full yet, but I have terrible Manchurian candidate. You're fired.
Russell says perfect. It was perfect.
Perfect.
Perfect's a good
That's
one.
a good one. Perfect phone call. Says Zelensky about Hunter. And look what happened. Keep giving us your suggestions. We'll take them on the Annie Fry YouTube channel. Go there and let us know what you think. And because I will take more possibilities than just the best, what would it be, 24 spots. We'll take your, and I have a Biden bingo. We'll have to do a Trump bingo one too. And then hopefully, gosh, man, wouldn't it be fun to have a debate where you had a Trump bingo card and a Biden bingo card and maybe a Trump Biden bingo card, and who knows? It would be funny if one of them said the thing of the other person.
Oh, no, that was on Trump's card. Mark that one off.
Yeah, let us know. Go to the Annie Fry. Sleepy Joe. Is that a good one?
Yeah.
Does he still say that?
I don't know if he's using Sleepy Joe. I think it's more Crooked.
Crooked Joe. Yeah. Low IQ he uses a
Low
lot.
IQ is a newer one.
G-Whip says, too many possibilities. Just make it a huge bingo card.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a quick break. Keep your suggestions coming. Katie says, frankly. I think he says that a lot. That's a good one. I'm going to write that down. Let us know what you think. Help me do this, and then I will create these cards for us. And then when we start getting more press conferences or maybe speeches from Trump, we can play bingo together. It makes it a little more fun. We'll be right back.
This is The Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Instagram at The Annie Fry Show.
Michael's Flooring Outlet is online at igotfloor.com, and your shopping can start there. You can go on to igotfloor.com and request an estimate right there from the website. You can also shop through all of the different products that they have available there. Now, you probably know that you're going down the line for carpet. Maybe you're curious about the Mohawk Smart Strand line that I talk about regularly, or you're going tile for a bathroom, maybe a vinyl for a basement. Maybe you have no idea and you're finishing a basement for the first time, and so you're not 100% sure which direction you want to go. A lot of basements, my basement included, have half carpet, half tile. Whatever you're looking for, Michael's Flooring Outlet has options in all of those different categories so that your shopping is made easy. They provide you quality products with great customer service to help guide you in making your decision. What are you getting for your investment? What more can you get for a little bit more investment? What can you save on? And what are you sacrificing if you decide to save a little bit? They know the ropes, and they're there to guide you through the process so you feel confident when you make that final purchase. Visit them at any of their 3 locations across the St. Louis area or online right now at igotfloor.com.
Baseball is back, basketball is heating up, and the NFL Draft is right around the corner. Listen to the latest on the teams you love with the free Odyssey app. The biggest sports radio stations in the country, providing unrivaled local coverage of their teams, all in one place. Exclusive interviews with players, coaches, and team executives, streaming live and always available on demand. Stay in the know with your favorite teams with Odyssey. AUDACY. Download the free Odyssey app today.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Okay, so you filed your taxes this year, but you know you have past IRS issues. And now the IRS letters are coming. Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. Don't ignore those IRS letters. They're important and give you rights and deadlines to defend yourself. Waiting could cause you to lose those rights. Call the Lance Story Law Firm now and let us help you get ahead of the IRS and defend your rights while you still have time. The Lance Story Law Firm is located here in St. Louis, so take the first step and hire a tax resolution attorney. We've made it super easy to schedule your free consultation in person, or you can do a phone call and save travel time. Remember, IRS problems are legal problems. So before you send money to some out-of-town, high-pressure salesperson, give us a call at the Lance Story Law Firm. Call today at 314-260-6120. That's 314-260-6120. Or go visit LanceDruryLaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
On Friday, April 19th, the Cardinals host the Milwaukee Brewers. That night, 25,000 fans ages 16 and older will leave with their very own bobblehead of the young and upcoming Cardinals star Jordan Walker. This collectible bobblehead is presented by Central Bank and is sure to be a must-have for your bobblehead collection. That's Friday, April 19th. The Cardinals, the Brewers, and the Jordan Walker bobblehead. For tickets or details, visit cardinals.com/promotions.
This is Jordan Walker, St. Louis Cardinals for the Lou.
There's the 8th strikeout for Lynn.
The Cardinals host the Brewers the weekend of April 19th through the 21st. Join us at the ballpark on Saturday, April 20th, when 25,000 fans 16 and older will take home their very own Cardinals full zip jacket courtesy of Mercy. This exclusive navy jacket sports the STL logo on the chest and it has many elevated features. That's Saturday, April 20th. For tickets and more information, visit cardinals.com/promotions.
This is Lance Lynn, the St. Louis Cardinals for Lulu.
What better way to support your nutrition than with the multivitamin that was created right here in St. Louis? Neovitin Original Multivitamin was created by St. Louis physician Dr. Abicki to support his own nutrition when he needed it most. Now, Neovitin Original Multivitamin is formulated with sensible doses of vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, and Dr. Abicki's proprietary blend to give you nutritional support you won't find anywhere else. Neovitin is now conveniently available through our no-obligation monthly subscription. Cancel or pause at any time, and shipping is free. Support your nutrition with a subscription to Neovitin at neovitin.com today.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. If you're not sure who to call for air conditioning services, contact the team at Air Comfort Service. With 55 years of experience and thousands of 5-star reviews, you can trust them with the comfort of your home. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
Download the Odyssey app to listen to 97.1 FM Talk and find content that moves you. Anytime, anywhere. The Odyssey app. For 97.1 FM Talk on the go. You're listening to The Annie Fry Show. The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. Some breaking news right now. I'm going to just read to you straight from Fox News. This is a Fox News breaking news alert. More than a dozen House GOP privacy hawks have blocked the House of Representatives from advancing a Speaker Mike Johnson-backed bill to renew a controversial federal government surveillance tool known as Section 702 of the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act. You might know it more as FISA. Fox News reports it comes hours after former President Trump posted on Truth Social, kill FISA. It was illegal used against me and many others. 19 Republicans voted against their party leadership to tank a procedural vote that would have allowed for the House to debate and then vote on the bill itself. The final vote was 193 to 228. The Reforming Intelligence and Security America Act, a compromise bill between the House Judiciary Committee and the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence, is aimed at curbing instances of abuse reported against Trump and others by instituting safeguards on who can access Section 702 collected data, particularly if it involves a U.S. citizen. It also would make it a crime to use backdoor loopholes to improperly access Americans' data. Among the GOP lawmakers who blocked the bill were House Freedom Caucus Chair Bob Good of Virginia, Nancy Mace, Lauren Boebert, Clay Higgins, Chip Roy, Matt Rosendale, among others. I think it's funny, among others. If you're among the others and you're reading this, you're like, come on! I took this vote and I am among others? Yeah, list my name. So that went down. Section 702 is a provision that allows the federal government to conduct warrantless surveillance of a foreign national outside the U.S. if they're suspected of ties to terrorism, even if the person on the other end of the communication is an American citizen. The House Judiciary Committee backed an amendment that would force U.S. officials to seek a warrant before querying communications made by an American, which national security-minded Republicans have largely opposed. There you go. That's exciting.
It is kind of a big thing. It's one of those things that you go, I know just enough about this to know how Trump feels about it and how they used it against him. And then you're like, okay, well, that's good that they knocked that down. But then you go, well, then what else were they using it for that's not an abuse? That I just don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know enough about it.
Well, yeah, the thing, the F in FISA stands for foreign.
Right.
So it stands for Donald Trump.
No, and that was just it. I mean, it is my understanding that the way this bill was written, it was so that you could like intercept phone calls and transmissions and stuff like that of foreign entities calling into the U.S. But if there was any U.S. citizen on that phone call, their name was supposed to be redacted from everybody, and that you needed a court order to get it. But it sounds like the court was like, yeah, sure, here you go. You can unmask him.
I just remember Peter Strzok and his goofy head down, eyes up, devilish look when he did this little shimmy back and forth with his head and his eyes.
I remember that.
I hate it. It's like, of the visuals that could come to mind that make me want to vomit, that's high on the list. Is Peter Strzok's little, because he's the one who said you could smell the Trump supporters.
Yes, that guy was a piece of garbage.
That's worse than that.
That's fair safe.
We're not on TV, but it was. I'm looking at the camera doing this. It was like.
This is a great radio.
Yeah, it was like that. It was head down, angry eyebrows.
Yeah.
He looked like he was ready for a fight.
Yahoo Finance has 4 signs you've shifted from being frugal to being cheap. Would you consider yourself frugal or cheap?
Frugal. I don't think I'd go cheap.
Are you frugal?
I'm not good at it, but I want to be.
You're like, in theory. Yeah. Are you frugal or cheap, Ryan?
I'm probably freep, where I try to be frugal, but I end up being kind of cheap sometimes. Trying to break that habit, but
I am incredibly frugal. I am very opposed to being cheap, but that is something that time has taught me. The first one is you make extreme sacrifices. Being frugal is a great practice no matter your income or net worth, because frugality means you're smart and strategic about how you spend your money and manage your resources. This is according to Lynette Calfani-Cox, author of Bounce Back, The Ultimate Guide to Financial Resilience. By contrast, being cheap is more like being penny wise and pound foolish. That's like one of those things people say, and you're like, okay.
Some phrase that was from 1804.
Yeah, then they put their monocle on and walk away.
You know what Pennywise is to me? It's a clown in a sewer.
Yeah.
I don't want to be that. That's for certain. He's an alien. Cheap individuals take shortcuts to save money in ways that wind up costing them more in the long run, financially or in terms of overall quality of life. So as far as making extreme sacrifices, here's a case in point. He wouldn't even flush the toilet in his house except once a week.
Oh, that's weird.
No.
All to supposedly save money on his water bill. That practice was driving other family members crazy. I just don't understand why. This sounds like a Joe Biden policy.
It's, you know what, though? There are people who have said this before, and I at the time would have been like, you know what? I don't know that I abide by that. If it's yellow, let it mellow.
More in this quote here. It says that practice was driving other family members crazy, and it also impacted, wait for it, his ability to have dating relationships.
Oh, I am shocked.
Because
Okay.
he said the women he dated were turned off by this so-called money-saving move. Really? Like, what woman is like, I want to get involved in that? Like, here's a man who I want to invest in me emotionally, wholly, completely. Will allow you to only flush once a week? Oh, my Lord, have mercy. Run as fast as you can, but right after you flush the toilet.
We don't use the toilet around here. That wastes water. Just grab a shovel and go out back, dig a hole.
Even if that is your household policy as a single guy, guys, set it aside just for the date. Like, you can hide that stuff a little bit.
Drop that nonsense on her once you get married.
Yeah.
Wait, careful. I don't understand either, like, the idea that you would think that was a net win. To me, and I say this with love, there's a mental breakdown there.
Yes.
Like, there's something about that isn't about, like, how would you possibly live with somebody who has that type of thing? You can't.
Yeah.
You wouldn't.
Also, just cost-benefit analysis. For the amount of money that you're saving, it would be pretty small. The benefit is you don't have poop in your toilet all the time.
Your water bill, I mean, what's your water bill every month?
It's not that much.
Yes.
$50, $100.
Ours is like $100, but it's got trash in it, I think. So
Yeah, exactly.
I couldn't tell you what ours is.
imagine the amount of money you'd be saving and the extreme sacrifice. Is there anything you've ever gone to lengths to save money? Like that you intentionally tried to not do or to extra do because you thought it was saving money?
Yeah, there are things that I did that, but like I said, I've got that rule where I pay myself a certain hourly wage, and that's how I determine if something is worth the savings or not. And that hourly wage strategy developed out of me wasting way more time trying to find a cheaper way of doing something, wasting way more time and money trying to find a cheaper way of doing something than just doing it the traditional way.
Have you gone out to extreme sacrifices to save money?
I used to be really extreme about where I bought gas. I still try to buy it in Missouri over Illinois, but it gets to a point, depending on what your lifestyle is like and what you're doing that day, that you're going to waste more gas getting to the cheaper station. And I had to realize that at some point, that I'm not like beating the system. I have to allow myself to also live.
The next one is you're a burden on others. According to Todd Stern, founder and CEO of The Money Manual, being frugal simply means finding ways to save money. He said, this could mean shopping, sales, thrift, or garage sale shopping, using coupons, repairing, or repurposing items you already own, or simply avoiding the urge to buy things you don't need. If no one would describe you as generous and you've become a financial burden on friends and family, you've crossed the line from frugal to cheap. Letting loved ones treat you to a meal out for a birthday, a promotion, or even just because sometimes is fine, but you should try to return the favor at appropriate times. The same goes for letting others pay your way for movies, trips, and other outings.
That's completely true. And I want to be on record as saying that. I want it to be known that I said publicly that that is true, that you should try to return the favor, and that I am working on that.
Ryan is harboring some guilt.
No, I just came in today and said, Brad, for you, the Eclipse glasses. I'm so glad you brought this up today because he bought us Eclipse glasses. And I did say, Brad, you overspent on those, but I do want to buy you lunch to repay you because I felt bad that you even bought them for me. So I'm getting better at that.
And I turned him down. I'm going to hang that over
You
your
did
head.
turn me
Yeah,
down.
I'm going to hang that over your head for a long time, Ryan.
I'm paying you back for those glasses right now.
Are you really?
I told him I would.
I know.
I started to do it, and we were like watching an eclipse, so I forgot to do it.
I got to add this too. That
But I just paid him back for him, so you owe me lunch. There you go.
So the
Oh, there it is. Oh, yeah, she paid me back for yours, too.
no.
I would have paid for him anyway. I was going to.
Yeah.
I was going to go to the store the party store.
Yeah.
To do's and
I bet you
Glen
can get it real
Carbon.
cheap now.
Have you been a burden to others because you're too cheap?
I would say when I was younger, I definitely erred on that side because I just didn't have any money. But as I got older, I think I've gotten better about that.
What about you?
I don't know that I've ever been a burden on others.
You are so not the participant in your household that does the money stuff.
No, my wife is the one that does the money stuff, but
She's
enjoys.
also got like a doctorate in math or something.
It's a master's, and it's
oh.
It's Dr. Rain.
Yeah. Yeah, and you will refer to her as such.
Right.
No, she handles the money stuff. She had a really when we got married, I was just kind of a guy, and I had a little book, and I would write stuff down and make sure that I wouldn't run out of money in my debit account.
Was it words or pictures?
It is pictures.
Okay.
Pictures with numbers.
Sad faces.
Yeah.
That's the way mine was when I was young.
Hamburger.
Yeah.
But she has a really good system, and I'm of the mindset, why reinvent the wheel? And so she just took that part over, and then I took some other stuff off of her plate. So she handles the money stuff, and I handle the other things. Not the other stuff, as in all the
other things. That sounds like there may be a thing.
There is a lot
Or it
of
sounds
stuff.
like
Brad, what's your job?
And-
No. Brad, tell us what your job is.
My job is to fix what's broken at home.
That's a good job.
Yeah.
Do you do it?
Yes. The other day, our dryer wasn't working and wasn't doing stuff, and I think I fixed it for like $40
Instead of having to get a new dryer?
instead of having to get a new dryer, which had been well over $400.
Perfect example of where being cheap hurts past being frugal when your dryer is broken and you can't fix it, but you're
Right.
being too stubborn to either A, pay a repairman, or B, replace the stupid thing. And then you go a long time without a functioning dryer and you're like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, you need to get the job done. That's where I have shifted, is to realize the time, like you were saying before, you said you pay yourself a certain wage. But I have, in the last 10 years, and I think this corresponds with having kids and having less time, but my time is as, if not more valuable than my money. And I have to protect it as such because time can suck the money out of your wallet for sure. Third one, your stuff is falling apart. Wearing items out past their point of usability or safety is another red flag. Stern said, if you're wearing clothes, shoes, and accessories that are falling apart rather than buying affordable thrift or clearance items to replace them, you're probably cheap. And that, he's added, can have a negative impact on how others see you and how you see yourself. It can even become dangerous and cost you opportunities. Like if you keep driving an unreliable vehicle because you'd rather save money than spend it on a more reliable used vehicle.
Man, I got some shirts in my closet that I know I need to get rid of, but I just can't.
Why?
They're like mementos from random events. I'll never wear them.
Well,
but every time I see it, I go, I can't get rid of that.
That's not what this is talking about.
Yeah.
That's something that you're saving. They're talking about wearing socks that have holes or no soles in them, speaking to my son, and continuing to wear them because you just haven't decided to replace them.
I had a shirt I used to wear kind of like as my pajama shirt, and it like the collar was
super stretched.
Gone. No, it's like the holes, like it didn't have the collar on it anymore. And Terry's like, why don't you get away with that? I was like, it's so soft.
It's my shirt.
It's so soft. But I did eventually get rid of it. But it looked like he got shot with a shotgun. There was just.
I love getting rid of stuff, so I do not have this problem. And I like getting new stuff,
Wow.
which is not this problem, but a different problem. And the last one is that your main concern is price. Consumer savings and budgeting expert Andrea Warrock said, the biggest difference between being frugal and cheap is how you determine the value of a purchase. Frugality focuses on value, quality, and relevancy. That's a big one, Annie. Rather than just price. If you're being cheap, that may mean you're worried about spending money, while a frugal person is not as much concerned about spending money, but rather what they are spending on and if it's worth the cost. 100% this. The idea that whatever the amount of money that I'm spending is not the important part before, do I need this? Can I afford this? Can I afford to not have this? And is this a worthy investment for the thing that I've determined that I need? Am I paying less for something that's going to last less or degrade quicker or not be as good? So the quality is very much so a portion of the value that you're saving. And if you really just go on price, if you have to buy three things, if you have to buy something 3 times and replace something 3 times for something that you could buy that's more expensive but just buy once, you might be spending less money on each individual purchase, but in the long run, it's going to cost you more. Is it hard to measure between price and value for you, Ryan?
Yeah. Because when I see a good deal, I am such a sucker for, but it would have cost this.
But it's not a good deal.
But I got to consider, would I have bought this or needed it in any way before I do so? I'm getting better. All these things I'm getting better at. But
again, like you said, when I see a good deal, what makes it a good deal?
It's always like percent or compared to another. Like if I could get a car for that same car for $30,000, but it's on sale for $20,000. I'm like, oh my gosh, it would be such a good deal, but do I need a car right now is the big question you got to ask. And,
it's a pretty extreme example.
That's an incredibly extreme example. Yeah. A good deal on something that you don't need or can't afford is not a good deal.
Correct.
But not buying something that you do need is not a good deal either because you need the thing. I always look at, like, one of the things I look at is, like, would you like to buy insurance on this whatever item you just bought? Say you buy an electronic item. Would you like to insure it for, like, $6 a month? No, because you don't lose money on that. They don't lose money on it, and I'm willing to take the risk that this thing will not break outside of the manufacturer's warranty. So, stuff like that. Is it worth the extra for the peace of mind or whatever? So,
Brad, are you cheap or frugal?
Neither.
Okay. I am economical. Ryan, you cheap or frugal?
I'm going to adjust my answer from when we started from freep to chugal.
Okay. I definitely am frugal. But I think it's an important lesson learned, and I definitely would have been cheap one time. And then you get to the point where it's like you kind of ask yourself, could I afford, like, being cheap was the best I could do. It's come a long way. Let's take a quick break. We'll get the results, what we think in here, and what you think about our YouTube live chat poll. Who will win the youth vote? Is it Trump, Biden, or other? Russell says, I chose Sleepy Joe. He's gone around the Supreme Court and student loans. I also think the majority of younger voters have no clue. So if it's free, it's for me. Ender said, I said other, despite Even NBC's polls from last month showing 18 to 29-year-olds in favor of Trump over Biden, 58 to 40%. And Vicky said, I said other. Maybe just wishful thinking that they won't go with Joe. Let us know what you think. We'll be right back.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Fry Show.
The Diamond Shop in Clayton, waiting for you to come stop by and say hi. Tell them Annie sent you. April is a great month to go in store and see how you can save extra on the beautiful, sparkly things that they have at the Diamond Shop for that person in your life that you love. Mother's Day is around the corner, so I want to give you the opportunity to really consider how the Diamond Shop can put the smile on mom's face that you're always trying to do around Mother's Day. 40% off all color stone jewelry. That's a great, great savings there. An extra 10% off if you're a VIP. They have 30% off all in-stock jewelry, an extra 10% off if you're a VIP. Now, how do you become a VIP at the Diamond Shop? It's incredibly simple. You visit them online. Go to thediamondshop.net and become an exclusive VIP for the Diamond Shop online, and then you're going to have access to these special savings. They have a wide selection of engagement and wedding rings, fine jewelry, and watches. They create custom jewelry. They do watch repairs, appraisals, and they also buy gold. You can find them online at thediamondshop.net.
Is your home, business, or church looking tired, chalky, or in need of curb appeal? Go Rhino. Tired of painting year after year? Go Rhino. Our unique 3M ceramic technology is perfect for brick, stucco, aluminum, steel, color lock masonite, and more. It's backed by our 25-year transferable warranty to not chip, crack, or peel. Great if you're staying, and even better if you're selling. Our ceramic coating allows you to maintain all of your architectural features. The decision to do vinyl will leave your home looking like a plastic moldy box. With Rhino Shield, in 15 years, your home will still have that, wow, it looks like you just got it painted. We've done large condo complexes, parking garages, pole barns, and commercial strip malls. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. Evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. See what we did there? Genius. Tell them, ladies.
No paint, don't vinyl, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-652-5241 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-652-5241. That's 800-652-5241. What do you have to lose? Call 800-652-5241. Again, 800-652-5241.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
At Onder Law, we deliver big judgments for the little guy. Onder Law takes on the biggest industries and holds them accountable. Call today for a free review at 314 or 618-9000000.
Hey homeowners, it's time to transform your house into a masterpiece with Lakeside Renovation and Design, your James Hardie siding experts. Picture this, durable, weather-resistant siding that doesn't just protect, but elevates your home's value and curb appeal. James Hardie, the gold standard in siding, installed by the pros at Lakeside. Say goodbye to maintenance headaches and hello to a home that stands the test of time. Ready for a siding upgrade? Lakeside Renovation and Design is your go-to. Visit our showroom or call today. Unleash the potential of your home with James Hardie Siding.
The Annie Fry YouTube live chat poll of the day is, we're going to get the results here in just a minute. Who will win the youth vote? Biden, Trump, or other? I've seen a lot of people weighing in on this one. Looking forward to seeing what you think. Who will win the youth vote in 2024? It is 2:52. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
SibblingTown.com.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon. Once again, St. Louis gets amazing PR across the country with a new piece that's in the Wall Street Journal, which makes us look like we really don't have a thriving city, because we don't have a thriving city. Details coming up.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Just got home from Illinois, locked the front door, oh boy. Got to sit down, take a rest on the porch. Imagination sets in, pretty soon I'm singing. Looking out my back door. This giant doing cartwheels, statue wearing high heels. Look at all the happy creatures dancing on the lawn.
Kept 225,000 child care workers, child care working centers open, giving parents an opportunity to get back to work. Well, I tell you what, you want to come make a speech or shush up, okay?
Shush. President Biden shushing the protesters. They seem to follow him everywhere that he goes these days. They're very unhappy with him because they don't like his alignment with Israel for the most part. The YouTube live chat poll for today is who's going to win the youth vote? There are rumblings that Donald Trump is surging in this, and you could cite polls. I hate polls, so I don't have any in front of me to cite. I've just seen the stories that have developed out of them. But you do have to ask yourself what this Biden administration, this old dude who slurs his words and doesn't seem to connect with American citizens on any level, what would be attractive to young voters right now when it comes to Joe Biden? On the flip side, what is like the magnetic draw to Donald Trump from for the young folks? There is a counterculture thing that is in play, in my opinion, when it comes to Donald Trump that could be attractive to young people. The idea that you're going against the grain. I don't know if Trump is going to be able to capitalize on that, but it seems like it might be a possibility. Brad, who's going to win the youth vote?
Well, I'm of the mindset that I've got other, and I don't think either one of these guys are going to win the youth vote. I think that the youth vote's going to stay home for the most part. I do think that the surge that you're seeing for Trump is that countercultural thing, but I think it's mainly young guys, young males that are like, you know what, this guy doesn't hate me, so I'm going to go from there. He doesn't lead an administration that says that men are the worst thing and are super toxic and all that other stuff, and so I might vote for him. But for the most part, I think they don't want to vote for that old fart, and you can decide who that old fart is from either candidate from their perspective, and I think they're just going to stay home. Are you
voting Trump?
Me?
Or you said
no,
other?
No, other.
Other.
Yeah, I don't think either one of them is going to get it.
Brian, what do you think?
Yeah, I actually am going to go with Trump here.
I got to interrupt this.
Okay, please.
They got Donald Trump, and he's ordering somewhere, and all this says on the screen is, can I get 30 chicken sandwiches and maybe some milkshakes?
Leaves the worker with a little bit of question mark
that, to
there.
me, speaks to the young people. Go on.
Well, then thank you, because I chose Trump in this poll. I do think that he will win the youth vote. I don't think it'll be by a lot, but I do think that he's kind of the cool candidate this year.
Okay. George says, I voted Trump. I would hope the youth vote remembers what happened 4 years ago when Biden tried to buy votes by doing student loan forgiveness. Michael says, regarding the poll, Biden will probably get the youth vote because they're too naive to realize that he's only offering school debt relief to buy their votes and can't deliver. So George and Michael sit down, have a chicken sandwich, and, maybe some milkshakes.
Maybe.
And work that out. I don't know which of you is correct. I am going to say Biden because I think the default is Biden. I think they're going to work very hard to make abortion to be a lead issue that's going to bring young female voters out. I hope they fail miserably at that. Who will win the youth vote? 17% of you said other, 38% of you said Biden, and 45% said Donald Trump. I wish it were 47, but I digress. All right, let's take a break here and hand it over to the Mark Reardon Show, coming on your home for conservative talk here in St. Louis, 97.1 FM Talk. And a reminder, if you missed the Greg Jarrett interview, we spoke with Deroy Murdock as well. You can always check the Annie Fry Show podcast for whatever you missed, and the Annie Fry YouTube channel if you want to watch what you missed. Mark Reardon, up next.
So, pour another glass of that rock and roll. Turn up the band, find the hole, gonna lose control tonight. What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
We used to argue
about whose turn it was to clean the gutters. But then I had Leaf Filter gutter protection installed.
Wait, I told you Leaf Filter had free inspections and estimates and a lifetime guarantee.
Meaning we never have to argue about whose turn it is to clean the gutters again.
But I visited leaffilter.com/beacon first.
No, I did.
It doesn't matter who. Visit leaffilter.com/beacon to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off today.
See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
Did you know that feeling sluggish or weighed down could be a sign that your digestive system isn't working at its best? Taking Metamucil every day can help. Metamucil fiber powders help promote your daily digestive health using a plant-based fiber called psyllium. The gelling action of this special fiber traps and removes waste, so you can feel lighter and more energetic. Metamucil, promoting digestive health for a better you. Learn more at metamucil.com. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Thomas Helbig, Bob Kershaw, and Tammy Kershaw at the Retirement Advisory Group. They're waiting for your phone call because you get to set up a free, no cost, no obligation retirement review when you connect with the Retirement Advisory Group. We have been very fortunate to partner with these really great people for, I don't know, like over a decade for sure, to help folks just like you who are on the cusp of retirement get to the point where you can do so without the anxiety that goes along. Like, gosh, I hope I did everything I could. I really hope I made all the moves that were necessary. They help you with that. That transitionary period is a really important time to make the smart moves, and they know the smart moves. If you want to call them, you can reach out to them at 314-993-9494. Schedule that appointment. Mention the Annie Fry Show when you give them a ring. There have been so many 97.1 Annie Fry Show listeners that have connected with Thomas Helbig, and they love welcoming you in. And get it scheduled right away and get your personalized structured income plan set up. Online at retirementkey.com.
Hey guys, Glover here from my friends at ThrottleNet. So I'm so very proud to have represented the guys at ThrottleNet for all of these years. They are the IT geniuses. George and Mike are the owners. Fantastic guys. They can do all of your IT. They can do a portion of your IT. They have the best Apple support team. Their response time is under 2 minutes. Think about that, under 2 minutes. Something goes sideways with your IT, and they are solving your problem. And they're solving your problem within 2 minutes. Now, let's talk about cybersecurity. Most companies in St. Louis don't have cyber liability insurance. You get hit, you're on the hook, you're probably out of business. With ThrottleNet, if we represent you, we protect you. The first $500,000